Okay, well, I guess I'm just blind. I can't see shit, guys. I can't see anything. Oh, my glasses. I look naked. It's so weird. Alright. Hi, hello. I took a shower, and somewhere between me getting into the shower and now, my glasses have disappeared. They've grown legs and walked away. I can't see shit. I also need a haircut. Congratulations on becoming, I think somebody said that they became like a swamp witch or something, so congratulations on your upgrade. That is definitely an upgrade. Definitively an upgrade. Hi, welcome. I'm Chesh, if you don't know me. I'm currently blind. Today we're gonna talk about Dapper's video that he put out about the, owner of a channel called Modern Day Debates. Everybody memes on him because he's the moderator, but doesn't moderate or do, like, any of that shit. We're supposed to read the comments, but, you'll have to forgive me if that's a bit of a chore, because I can't see shit. So, my extra reading powers will definitely be... I'm also out of tea, so I've been drinking green tea, a little bit of green tea this morning, because I'm having a day, apparently. It is one of those days. How long have they been so bad? That's a good question. A few years. They've been so bad for a few years. I checked both, there are 2 bathrooms and I checked both of them. I even checked the fridge. I checked the inside of the fridge. I didn't see them in there either. Am I sitting on them? Did I put them on my chair and then they got buried in the blanket that I'm sitting on top of? Well, there's my hat. No. No, I'm just blind. I'm just blind. The best part about looking for my glasses is I can't see without my glasses. So I'm just double blind. Alright, well, whatever. Let's just go. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Pockets? I don't even have oh, I do have pockets. They're not my pockets. Not my pockets, not on my head. Not on my head. Costumes for Dumb Fuck Friday if you want to get a costume. That super chats go into that, and there is a goal. We will open Spice if we reach the super chat goal for Spice, which is only 5 super chats, I think. I think I made it only 5 super chats. I don't know. I can't fucking see. Did I make it 5? Yeah, it's 5. Okay. I can barely read chat. This is gonna... Oh, this is gonna be so bad. Alright, this is... This day. I can't see shit. Cheap spares? No, there would be no, there's no winning. Like, I would lose those too. There's no, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. The fact that I don't have a spare set of glasses is actually probably terrible. You know what? Hold on. You know what? Fuck you. Did these help? No. Did they make me feel better? Yes. All right. let's. All right. So I got Dapper's video. An emergency cabinet. How do these feel like they need to be wiped off? Good God. I'm a mess today. I'm falling apart. Okay. Let's get started. Now, Dapper read this out live on a stream, and now he's also put it out as a video, so we're gonna check that out. Come down a little bit. Hi. There we go. Hello. Okay. All right. It's closed captioning. Let's go.
You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey there, YouTube, the Dapper Dinosaur here, coming at you with a quick and unusual video today. You see, a few days ago, I got an email from one James.
He's coming at you like Cleopatra. I like this. I like the digital dapper. Holographic digital dapper is very cool.
Kunz, the owner of the YouTube channel Modern Day Debate. He wanted me to debate a fellow who goes by Jim Bob, whose YouTube channel description read, at least at one point, as professional noticer. In case you're unaware of what that means, first, I'm jealous, and second, it means he's made his whole personality virulent anti-Semitism. He's also, of course, a general racist and
I didn't know what that meant, so thank you.
fascist. Topic for the debate was to be evolution on trial, a topic I would never agree to as it's far too vague. It's like debating tensile strength on trial. Like, what the fuck even is that? Here's the response that I sent, which I read out and sent during a live stream. But I know not everyone watches those, and even for those who do, it can be a pain to go looking through old ones. So I figured I'd put it here. Please enjoy and remember that this was done live with no chance for me to edit my mistakes or remove all my breath sounds, etc. I'm gonna read.
Oh my god, wait, he just took the fucking live and then splat it. You know what? There's one thing about this that I appreciate about Dapper's response to this, and it is that he put next to no effort into it as little effort. Like he must have been trying to do, like I'm not gonna re-record myself reading this stupid fucking email.
The email that I'm about to send, James, and I'm going to send it here live on air. This is from my email. This is from my work email. So, by the way, do know that if you send me email to my work email, it is not private. If I feel the need to, I will share it. So yeah. If you don't...
I'm gonna read out what Modern Day Debate said. Sorry, you're gonna see me like leaning way in because I can't fucking see shit. Modern Day Debates. Hi Dapper, hope you are well. Would you possibly be up for a debate with Made by Jim Bob on Evolution on Trial, potentially this Friday at 9 p.m. ET? In any case, thanks for considering, and I hope you're well. He has a PhD. What's his PhD in?
If you feel like, well, how would I send you a private message to your email, to your personal email? I don't have that. Yeah, if you don't have that, that's because I don't want you to send me private emails. If I do want you to send me private emails, I'll give you an email address that you can send private emails to. Not even Chesh has that email address. So, there you go. Sorry, Chesh. She's over it. Anyway, I'm currently forgetting that people can't see you this moment. So I'm acting like people can see your gestures, and like they can't. Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was rolling my eyes and putting my hand up like whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Roshan.
Why did you leave this part in? Why is this part in the video? Not even Chesh has that one. Yeah. Fine.
Roshina for 199 clarifies disembodied feet. Ah, okay. I at least understand that. But it's also weird and like no. And then for let's see, for 200 Argentinian pesos, Raptor Shaped Earth says closing quote mark from last chat. Okay, fair. Also, because Chesh will like it, Greek words phallos, AIG, and phalina, whale, both come from Proto-Indo-European vel, whales divided into toothed whales, showers, and baleen whales, growers.
I appreciate that Dapper and people have also responded to my question. Why did you leave that in there? Chesh reacting to herself, LOL. That's kinda meta. Effort equals 0 from Dapper, and Pibblemonk says, because it's funny, duh. New content idea, have Chesh respond to old videos of her. Don't do that to me. Please, I beg of you, don't do that to me. I will cringe out of my mind.
Yo, thank you very much.
I do like that.
And we'll take a drink. Okay.
Thank you.
This is to me from Modern Day Debate. Hi, Dapper. I hope you're well. Would you possibly be up for a debate with Made by Jim Bob on, quote, Evolution on Trial, end quote, potentially this Friday at 9 p.m. ET? In any case, thanks for considering, and I hope you're well. James Kuhn P.
Oh, Dapper, Reddit.
PhD, then a link to his Modern Day Debate channel and his LinkedIn. So that's the email I received last night at 11:01 p.m. my time, which I'm not criticizing James for the time. Like, whatever, it's email, right? Send it when you can. This is my response. And I want to point out that in the following response, I have written...
I can see! One of the guys I live with found my glasses. They were under the couch somehow. Partially. Mostly under the couch. I kind of looked there, but apparently I didn't look there hard enough. Thank you! I can see! Hooray!
Word. Oh, that's not entirely accurate. I guess I've written one sentence and then one additional word. Dear James, you hosted an open white supremacists and Christian nationalists like Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer, treating their vile bigotry as if it is something of equal merit and can be debated and reasoned with, rather than the very ideology which is directly targeting and brutalizing the most marginalized among us, which I spelled wrong, so I'll fix that now. Here we go.
I do have a question. Like, what would possess anybody to host Nick Fuentes? Like, I could have understood hosting him, like, maybe, like, a really, really long time ago. Like, definitely, I don't see there being any reason to host somebody like Nick Fuentes after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. After he said, "Your body, my choice," I feel like, why would you host him in any real capacity? Like, if it's not a physical fight and it's just somebody beating the shit out of him, I don't see, like, why you would ever fucking host that man. Like, it's only gonna be bad. Like, it's only gonna be bad for you, right? Like, what do you get out of that? Like, and, like, there's no way you get enough money out of that for it to be, like, worth your time, right? Like, that's not... Correctly thought it would bring in Nazi dollars. Look, really? How much money did he make off of it? Drama clicks, views. It seems like what you would lose is more than what you would gain. Even like you'd have to make some really serious money because you're gonna lose like so many fucking potential guests, and you're gonna lose so many fucking opportunities for content when you host somebody like that. I can't see only under very, very specific circumstances could I maybe understand why somebody would bring Nick Fuentes on. Hold on, I need to look at Modern Day Debates now and see, like, actually when was the last time he had Nick Fuentes on. Now I'm just curious about how long ago we're talking for that. What a timeline. I didn't spend a lot of time on Modern Day Debate specifically, mostly because his side chat was such a fucking nightmare that I was like, I can't be here. I was also like getting harassed over there and stuff, so. Let's see. Of course, all the thumbnails look the fucking same. He's still hosting Destiny after all that, like, yikes. Okay. Andrew Wilson is kind of a problem, isn't he, as well? I remember when we watched FTFE's conversation or debate with Rachel, we were getting irritated at James's lack of participation. Is this like cringy ass AI? Is that what I'm seeing? Andrew Wilson versus the female prophet. What? Oh, is he doing like a lot of that like debate bro like manosphere shit? Why is Alex O'Connor willing to show up over here? What the fuck? Alex, you can do better. What a bad screen grab of Craig. I'm not seeing Nick. Where the fuck is Nick? Oh, here we go. Oh, it was Destiny and Nick Fuentes. Oh boy. Like 3 years ago, I could kind of fucking understand like maybe having Nick Fuentes on. Like it's still not great, but maybe I could like grab it. But like this last year, yeah, I don't fucking think so. Why would you do this? Who else is on this stream? This is like a big ass panel.
If you have a traditional
Yeah, oh my god, Alex Stein. Oh, okay. All right. This is not a serious place. We're not having real conversations here. This Okay, go on, Dapper.
This is how you know it's real. Which is why I disrespectfully decline the invitation to debate Jim Bob. Your repeated platforming of fascist grifters and anti-intellectual speakers to how speaks to how you truly view these issues, since they do not impact you directly. They are mere thought experiments. You do not care about the people who get hurt because of racism, misogyny, homophobia, or any other prejudice. You hold none of those identities, so this is just abstract to you. Fodder for your psychology degree with no care as to the ramifications. You enrich yourself off AdSense.
Oh, it's a psychology degree. He's got a PhD in psychology. Then he should absolutely know better.
And super chats, Patreon too, while giving a free platform to the most toxic racist fascists since the 1940s, since 1940s Germany. It's deeply selfish, unethical, and materially harmful. Your channel is a circus of 4chan trolls, self-absorbed anti-theists, and xenophobes. It contributes nothing other than rage bait and sensationalism. No one in the audience is swayed through rational discourse and modern day debate, since modern day debate does not promote rational discourse. Modern day debate is a neo-Nazi bar, and you remain completely blind or willfully ignorant of that fact.
Yeah, I mean the goal is it's like blood sport debate, right? Like it's not actually there. It's supposed to be entertaining, but it's fallen from entertaining to being harmful. Like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if that's what you want to do on the internet, to have like shitty waste of time conversations just for the hell of it, just for the fun. You think it's fun to just have screaming matches and useless conversations with people like Nathan Thompson for whatever reason. Fine, I guess, whatever. Not some people are gonna be into that, and okay, fine. I'm not gonna have a problem with that. I might personally dislike it, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. I might say you shouldn't do this, but I don't mean that with any real, like, this is unethical and is, like, a problem. The issue is that modern day debate has slipped from that to doing actual harm because it is platforming without any real pushback, really bad ideas in a context where these really bad ideas have really strong influence. It's one thing to be like, I want to debate flat earthers when flat earthers have next to no, like, political power. And they're not running around actually making changes to school boards. You know what I mean? If they were making changes to school boards, then you wouldn't want to be doing debates like the type of debate that modern day debate has, or even the type of debates that Fight the Flat Earth has. You might want to have a different kind of debate or a different kind of conversation, but not what they're doing, right? On the other hand, that's the exact reason why you don't want to have debates like you have on modern day debate with people who are neo-Nazis. Because as of right now, the neo-Nazis have so much fucking political power and political push in the United States that, like, Nick Fuentes went and had dinner with the president and with fucking Kanye West. So, as awful and as disgusting as Nick Fuentes is, you have to take him seriously to at least some degree, which means you need to take these conversations at least somewhat seriously. So just presenting these ideas with next to zero pushback and no actual, like, adult in the room, it's like somebody in control of the situation, you're gonna have a really bad time. And so you need to, when you do have a platform, you need to be careful about what the fuck you're doing. And when you go onto other people's platforms, you need to be careful about where the fuck you're going. Because now if you're going onto modern day debates, you are either directly or indirectly assisting boost his numbers, thus boost the platform, thus boost everything that's on it. And so, that doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm not telling people where they should or should not go. I'm simply saying be aware of where you are going, because Or you want to go to the Nazi bar? You're going to go to the Nazi bar and give the Nazi bar your money? Are you going to bring your following as a YouTuber to the Nazi bar and expose your followers who the Nazis probably want to, unalive? Because that's a thing that they want to do a lot. Is that something you want to do? Is that something you want to be responsible for? It's something that you got to consider.
There is also a chance you secretly revel in giving a megaphone to actual confessing white supremacists while maintaining a guise of meek both-sidism. Look for enablers elsewhere. With disgust, Dapper Dinosaur. P.S.
Enablers is a good word for it.
I asked my Discord what I should say in response, and they came up with this. Dear James, thank you for your email regarding a debate on Friday. Unfortunately, I cannot appear on a platform that has hosted open racists and white supremacists such as Nick Fuentes or Richard Spencer, well-known involuntary participant in the Punch a Nazi debate. They carry with them a digital virus that is very dangerous to Ceratosaurus.
Oh, that was that Pope of Linguists? That's Punch a Nazi.
Such as myself, and I have too much respect for my human audience to pass that plague along to them. I lament declining the opportunity to show up creationists in a battle of wits, especially those who come fully unarmed. However, Ceratosaurus plagues aside,
you could see I don't know if this is an argument that James would make, but if he's like, well, I'm not saying I have the opinion of anybody that's on the channel, it's like, okay, yeah, but you don't care enough about the harm that this person's opinion is doing to the people. It's tacit, it's complacent at the best. It's tacit agreement, or like at least tacitly calling this acceptable, right? And some things are just not acceptable, right? So it follows under these sorts of guidelines. You might bring up the paradox of tolerance in this scenario, but I personally wouldn't, because the paradox of tolerance is more of a thought experiment than when it comes to in practice. Nobody can tolerate everything all of the time. That's just not how reality functions. So as from a real world perspective, you don't tolerate intolerance, right? Because why would you? It doesn't make any sense.
you and your show makes those with standards feel icky inside. You and every bigot that you platform are all even more disgusting than the most disgusting pelagic tunicates. If you wish to attract a group of participants with higher standards, it may behoove you to stop.
Feline's got a good answer. Whilst you may not explicitly adopt their stance, you are implicitly supporting it by offering your platform to it. That would be my response. I think that's a good response. I would also probably add in, is part of the problem when it comes to James in particular, the problem isn't that he's necessarily bringing on a Nazi. The problem is that he is platforming a Nazi in a space, in a context where that Nazi is getting next to no pushback and is gaining everything and losing nothing. Right? If James was a proper moderator, it still wouldn't be a good idea, and it would still be reasonable to criticize him for it, but it would be something that is at least you might be able to understand that it's like, no, I'm bringing this Nazi on to shit on him. The same way you bring on a flat earther to shit on them, right? To shit on the ideas and take them apart. My counter to that would be, you don't need to bring them on and boost them to deter and detract and destroy their arguments. And I just don't think any general flat earther is going to be as problematic, especially contextually, as a fucking Nazi is, especially in the current fucking United States and the current political climate going on, right? So it's still not great. It's still not great regardless, and it's such a specific thing. If we weren't living in the world that we were living in currently, and it was not for whatever reason, you don't have a whole ton of neo-Nazis currently in power in the United States, and you wanted to bring on somebody who's like, this guy is a Nazi, and have a conversation with them like you're a journalist, I think that could be an interesting, that would be a time when platforming a Nazi might be valuable. because you're not treating their ideas as if their ideas are legitimate. You're not platforming their ideas as if their ideas are legitimate. You are getting a piece of information for the sake of analyzing it and for the sake of journalism, which is just not what we're seeing. That's not what fucking happens on modern day debates. Modern day debates is a fucking megaphone for assholes. And like, if it was just assholes, it would be fine. The problem is it's assholes with guns that are killing people.
Being a sack filled with phalluses. In summary, get bent. This message was approved by Popal linguists. Also, there is a graph of fucks I give over time, going from 100 all the way down to 0 over time.
Can we also get a hashtag get bent in the chat, please? Thank you very much.
Then, at times like this, it is best to remember the wisdom of TISM. Andy Warhol got it right, everybody gets the limelight. Andy Warhol got it wrong, 15 minutes is too long. The number of :3s and its variants listed here don't even begin to describe the number of ways number of ways I wish to tell you to go fuck yourself. Which is just so many of them. Kindly see the attached graph of depicting my impression of modern day debate over time. It's very insightful and handy for more visual learners. Subscribe to Gutsick Gibbon, praise the Omnissiah, Dapper Dinosaur, Professional Non-Linguist, and Pope of Linguistics. Then, this response was generated by ChatGPT, Chat Group to Participation Transposition, as Dapper Dinosaur did not, in fact, feel like wasting his breath on those who waste the molecules that make them up. Followed by Charlie Kirk Mpreg, Zoran Mamdani with a SYBAU broken heart and a trans flag, and then someone named Christoph Thomas tweeting, thinking about the time Gavin McInnes, the founder of Proud Boys, stuck a dildo up his ass on live TV and to, and I quote, own the libs, along with a picture of said event. And here we go. Sent.
This is pretty racy for Dapper's channel.
Thank you very much for your attention to this matter, everybody. Well, there we go. I did get a response back later that night. It took the form of 2 emails. The first one said, "Is that a yes or no?" The second came in 13 minutes later saying, "I read the first sentence, but I'm not sure if U stuck with it or ultimately said yes." I have not further replied to James, nor do I feel the need to.
He didn't even bother to read past the first sentence, so he's responding with a question after not looking at or reading or reviewing the information. Does that make him bitch-made? I think that might make him bitch-made. He's responding to something he didn't watch, or he didn't read, or he didn't look at it. Oh, no. Also, the fact that this dude has a Subway sandwich tattoo is fucking bizarre. Is that weird to anybody else? Like, that's fucking weird, right? I think that Dapper should have said yes. Is that a yes or a no? I read the first sentence, but wasn't sure if you stuck with it. Dapper should have just said yes. Now, this is a lot nicer. Dapper is being a lot nicer to James than I would have been, because I feel morally obligated to do something about it. And what I would have done is I would have said yes, I would have agreed to the debate, and then I would have shown up and then I would have porn bombed him. Got his channel taken down. That's what I would have done. But, you know, that's just me. Now, would that have been a morally good thing for me to do? No, probably not. Would I be the asshole in that scenario? Definitely. And I'd be the justified asshole in that scenario because I'd take the flack for it. Oh my god, Trish porn bombed somebody. Yeah, I did. Who'd you porn bomb? The Nazi bar. I'm not sorry. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that I would be morally correct? I feel morally obligated to do so. Do you guys think that that's a real discussion? It's that, like, I'm breaking the TOS, I'm breaking the rules, but does that make me chaotic good? That's what I would have done. That's just me, though. I'm not saying anybody should definitely go and do that sometime if they get the opportunity.
Got his answer. He's just too lazy or self-important to read it. To be fair, though,
Too lazy, too self-important. I think he's too cowardly. I think if he read that and actually took the time to think about it, and actually took the time to consider the following, he would realize that he's the problem and he's the asshole, and then he would have to, like, stop. Isn't James supposed to be, like, from what I recall, he was, like, a religious person, right? Who was, like, all about, you know, that was part of the shtick, was that he was a debate channel, but he was a debate channel that, like, he was like the not atheist debate channel. Is that still the case? Because, I mean, if you're hosting Nazis, I have a hard time believing that you're, like, a religiously good person.
I suppose I was too lazy to really write it. Oh well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, or even your year. I'm the Dapper Dinosaur. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially—
Thank everybody who supports Dapper. Thank you, everybody who supports Dapper. So this video has 1.8 thousand views, which is, you know, pretty decent. Not much comparatively to, like, actually fucking, like, this one got 10k views, and it's just, like, an 11-minute little blurb. Like, fucking... How many subscribers does this channel have now? 252,000 subscribers? My guy, I think we found the problem. Guys, I think we found the problem. Dapper's got, what, 14k? No, almost 15k subscribers. I'm under 5. Guys, I think we found the problem. James identified as Christian. Is he a Christian white nationalist? Because, should I know? Will I perhaps? Do I enjoy ruining people's lives? Most definitely. Alright, so we got some comments to look at. There's 302 comments. That's a lot of comments. Congratulations on a lot of comments. Vishanti said, damn, scathing words. I wonder who could compose such aggressive rebuke. Gee, I wonder. The world may never know. The chat, the Discord can. I was holding it together until Charlie Kirk M. Preg. Yo, I'm with Hugh. I'm with M. Preg is fucking peak. That's some good shit. Ignore my suggested YouTube shit on the side. I assure you it's cursed. It's absolutely cursed. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't pause the screen and look at anything. All right, you guys can see this now? Good. This guy named Manor reports would like to debate you. I know you guys would disagree on a lot of things. He's a Muslim against evolution and believes a secularist society is destroying the West. By the way, this is the same guy that Jim Bob got scared and ran away from a debate a couple of months ago. Hey, if you guys know and want people to do debates on a place that isn't going to go host Nazis, I've been working on this place called Debate Hub, where we can just take all of this shit and move it over here. We can take all of the good things and move them over here and take the bad things and throw them in the dumpster. Not wanting to engage with any particular debater on any particular topic is all good, but it seems weird to me that you take issue with him allowing horrible racists to expose themselves to neutral audiences to be ridiculed and crushed. Interesting point. Do you actually believe that James's audience is neutral? Who the fuck is neutral to horrible racists? That is a real question I'm asking, by the way. Who is neutral to actual racists? Is it nobody? Why is my chat getting cut off? Stop that. Cease. Desist. There we go. That's better. I'm not neutral to horrible racists. Why do we all need to be exposed to horrible racists? There's a difference between like debunking somebody and exposing somebody, and you don't need that somebody to be there. You don't need to promote that person every time you do it. Right? Yeah, sea lions? Yeah, that's a good, yeah. Racists are neutral to racists? The people who might support these people already know who they are, so platforming can't really have a negative impact. Yes, it can, because now you're giving the opportunity for more people who would agree to consolidate. Like, this is one of the things about echo chambers in the internet, right? Echo chambers in the internet, or like Flat Earth. Flat Earth took off, and what got popular, one of the main reasons, is because of Facebook. So now these people who were like really fucking dumb and really don't fucking understand this shit were able to conglomerate together and consolidate and like hype each other up about their stupid bullshit, as opposed to being like a small group of maybe like 3 people and an entire town that are like never gonna interact with each other. Bad faith questioning, yeah. Whereas exposing them and putting them to question really can. Maybe if that's what James in Modern Day Debate was doing, but that's definitively not what they're doing. We all know that that's not what they were doing. If there was like a legitimate form of inquiry going on and a legitimate form of debate, then James wouldn't be getting memed on for never fucking moderating. We would not be so deep in shit if people refused to platform Kirk, Walsh, and co. The Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro are responsible for a lot. Actually, if you want a really good example of this, there is a conversation that, oh, I wish I could remember who it was. It was one of the big wigs of like the equivalent of David Zaslav of like NBC, of like, and he was talking about like the news and how much effect the news had on the political cycle. And he was talking about how the way the news handled Donald Trump in 2000 for the 2016 election basically got him elected, because they gave him so much free airtime, because it exposed, people fucking knew who he was, and gave him way too much exposure, which gave him way too much pull. That's how it works. People are blind to that. If you tell somebody something multiple times, they are more likely to believe that it is true or it is accurate. Right? Whether or not it is or not. But people will pick the thing that they are familiar with over the thing that they are not familiar with. Right? The devil you know is another good example. So having these ideas normalized, which is part of the platforming problem, is an issue. This is the problem that I had with Gavin Newsom and Ian Brenner when I was watching their fucking discussion, and they were talking about the things Trump was doing as if it was some kind of normal political move to be making. It is not normal. It's fucking bizarre, strange, weird. This is not the way fucking shit works at all. And so, like, stop trying to normalize this shit. And platforming it like it's nothing with next to no pushback, or even the pushback you get is unbalanced because James isn't a good moderator and never has been a good moderator, and in fact does not want to be a good moderator, makes these things so fucking problematic. So fucking problematic. And it basically, like, will slow burn brainwash you into being like, oh, well, what's the big deal? He only said this, this, and this terribly awful thing. It's like when we talk about the company, right? We look at this harassment, and I look at it and I go, yeah, whatever. They said this crazy, deranged fucking thing. Because I'm used to it. It's normalized to me. But if you go and say that to some random fucking person on the street, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck did you just say to me? Like, it's not reasonable. It's not to be expected. So when you create a place where these horrible racists are just allowed to be horribly racist, you get used to horrible racism and you start treating it like it's fucking normal. And that's what happens on his channel. So now the people in the chat and the people who view the channel on a regular basis think this horrible racism is not only normal, but acceptable because it's allowed to exist there with, again, next to no fucking pushback. Is what I said make any sense? Have I over-explained this? Probably. Stop eating my crayons! In the UK, one of our biggest ever wins against racism and ethno-nationalism was when the leader of the British National Party, Nick Griffin, went on a TV politics show and got absolutely exposed to the general public for all of his worst views. At the time, this basically blew up the support of the base for his party, which had been on the rise. All I'm saying is there are legitimate reasons for good people to confront bad people in public. There are. Is that what's happening on modern day debates? Do you guys think that that's what happens on modern day debates? Even if we take the grain of salt here, even if we do grant charity, right? If we grant charity to James and say James is a good person trying to do a good thing and bring people on who are going to be able to expose this other person, well, now it looks like a setup and not a debate anymore. And two, even if that was what he wanted to do, is that the result of his behavior? No, I'm seeing no in the chat. Can I get a 1 in the chat for no and a 2 in the chat for yes? Yeah, Ninjester makes a good point. Keyword, confront. Does confrontation happen on modern day debates? But here's the thing, a lot of these people have already been exposed, so what is the goal of bringing them on modern day debate? Everybody knows Nick Fuentes is a horrible, misogynistic, racist, fucking piece of shit. So what are you exposing? We already know this. What's the exposure part? What's the part that we don't all already know by, watching his content? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so here's the thing. If this is what James is trying to do, that's not how it's being perceived. That's not how people are viewing what he's doing. That does not seem to be the result. He's not getting the result that he wants. It's almost like that's not what he's fucking doing or something like that. You don't have to legitimize things to debunk them, or legitimize people to debunk ideas, right? So I don't have to, like the debate between Ken Ham and Bill Nye. A lot of people who do debates and talk about this kind of stuff and are science communicators said that was a bad move. And it was a bad move on Bill Nye's part. One, because it legitimized Ken Ham in a way that it didn't need to. And two, Bill Nye's not a debater. So he was not necessarily the best person to do the job that he wanted to do when he was there. So it ended up being, did Bill Nye win the debate, yes or no? And that you can have a discussion about that, because there were a lot of things where Ken Ham didn't address what Bill Nye was saying, but Bill Nye didn't really address what Ken Ham was saying either. So, meh. It also gives a place for people to validate their ideas. And their ideas that shouldn't be valid in the first place. Right? Can you watch the BBC clips? The way the moderator confronted the BNP leader was exactly the opposite of James's actions in modern day debate. Oh, I believe you. Do you have can you send me the link to it in Discord or someplace? It also brought in a ton of money for AIG. That's also a very good point. It also made a lot of people more aware of AIG's existence. AIG, even if Ken Ham didn't win that debate, they won the he lost the battle, win the war type of scenario. I'd have to find it. It was back in 2010. We can look at it potentially another day, but maybe send it to Dapper and Dapper can send it to this guy, because this evolution debate clearly wasn't it, but I struggle to draw wider conclusions or blame modern day debates for seating spaces for ethno-nats and the like to expose themselves. Again, if that's what was going on, sure, but that's not what's happening. Okay. Sure, Jan. I didn't know what Dapper was gonna say, but I appreciate that it's just okay. Not capitalized, but fully spelt out. Very, very funny. Windy, who you might see in the chat here sometimes, you can do so without platforming them on your social media. For the love of God, people get the fuck offline and go talk to people in person. That's a good point. As a Minnesotan who has been forced with this reality, please, for the love of whatever you believe in, do it now. Not every argument or debate needs to be recorded for posterity. It is enough to just convince one person in a one-to-one conversation. We do not need to broadcast every single anti-fascist conversation. That's a good point. You don't need to debate every single flat earther to have disproved flat earth. You do not need to debate every young earth creationist to have disproved young earth creationism. You do not need to, you don't even need to debate to do any of these. There's not a debate. The thing is with online debate culture, we're debating things that do not need to be debated. We know the earth is not flat. That's not a debate. It's a smackdown. We know young earth creation isn't true. This isn't a real debate anymore at that point. Not really, because we all know that there is, like, definitively one answer, as opposed to something that you could debate, which is something like, we want to do things this way and we want to do things this way, now let's debate which way is the best way to do it. Right? And, like, you know, both ways have their pros and cons. Right? Even if you want to debate religion, if you want to debate a belief system, you can debate a belief system, right? But, like, it's also very not productive. It could be entertaining, and it could be educational for some people in the audience, but it's not exactly, like, conducive to getting shit done. You know what I mean? Most of the time. A few here and there, sure. I'm not saying don't do it, by the way. Entertainment value is still value. It's just a matter of, like, is it productive? There are probably better debates to have. Anyway, where was I? Here we go. Enough exists online. Go debate people in real life if that's what you want to do, but do not expect other people to platform fascists for your entertainment. So, for some of us, this is a lot more fucking real than just something online that we can opt in and out of. I've been face to face with ICE. No one who supports them or the administration they're employed by deserves any serious consideration. The only correct response is rejection and condemnation, which I think Dapper's email gets that across. Rejection and condemnation seems to be, like, the two main key takeaways here. I gotta agree with you. I received an invite from James to debate on his platform a few years ago and initially agreed. The process of setting up the debate was so sloppily and unprofessionally handled that both I and my debate partner independently dropped out. James is looking for spicy debates, not substantive ones. Sad because his channel had promise. Well, I mean, his channel has 242,000 subscribers. So it is definitely, like, it's making money, but I do think we'd be better off with another platform. Would that platform be as popular? Would that platform make as much money? Well, would it make enough is a real question. It's like, I don't know. I haven't succeeded. I wish it were that simple just to rebuke people like Fuentes and treat them like they are too ridiculous or offensive to take serious. But their side only seems to get stronger. Yeah, but why? That's the real question. Why does this side seem to get stronger? There's reasons why that happens, and part of that is sloppy platforming. Do we just hunker down in our social bubble and hope things cool down? Punching them doesn't seem to work either, ellipses. No, we counter them. You don't have to hang out with them to do that. Yep. You do not have to interact with fascism to counter it. Both correct. Exactly what I was saying earlier. You don't need to bring a flat earther on to debunk flat earth. You don't even need to talk about flat earth to debunk flat earth. You just talk about measuring, like, the angular size of the ISS or whatever. You don't need to actually do the fucking debates. You don't actually have to even acknowledge the flat earthers exist to debunk them. You'll notice that, like, I don't have Wolf hanging out in here. Discussing more specifics makes more sense. Creationists can't weasel their way out of that by gish galloping, etc. If you discuss existence of transitional fossils, you discuss existence of transitional fossils, and not that cows produce cows and dogs produce, or Darwinism is just a religion. Not to mention that whether evolution is true is determined upon numerous lines of evidence. So you could just go over genetics, embryology, and paleontology, and you could still easily talk for hours on the subject. Yeah, that's a very good point. If you're going to have a debate, it should be specific. This is one of the reasons why, like, when Roadhog came in here last Monday, I was like, okay, but we need to establish here a through line of conversation if you want to have a conversation, if you want to have a debate. And at this point, I think I need to have a discussion with some people who do debates and some other people potentially, and bring them onto a panel and have a discussion about what's in a debate. What is a debate? What is the value of a debate? And what makes a good fucking debate? And no one cares, mate. Oh, well, clearly they do. Clearly the numbers say you're wrong. You've got almost 15k subscribers and the video's not broken 2k. And he's the one using numbers as a metric, not me. Oh, true. Numbers are bullshit. The numbers do not define whether or not people care, nor how many people care or how much they care, right? The metrics on YouTube, this is an ongoing issue. The numbers are bullshit. It doesn't mean that they don't mean anything, but they're an illusion. They do not mean what you think they mean. Just because a video doesn't get a whole ton of traction doesn't mean that people don't care about it, and doesn't mean the video doesn't hold value. Right? And the metrics and rates at I don't think, if I click on this person's channel, do you guys think that they make content? I suspect they don't. Yeah. One of the things that you don't understand if you do not make content and you're not like in the know about the way content works on YouTube is the click-through rate and the rate at which people watch your channel in relation to the number of people you have subscribed to your channel is probably not what you think it is. I was not expecting a TISM reference, but top-notch stuff. I wasn't either. I like all the evolution videos, cool stuff. However, this is just cringe virtue signaling. Just say no and move on. My guy, virtue signaling generally means you're not doing anything. Actively calling something out and then actively refusing the debate and then making everybody else aware of your position is not virtue signaling. You don't know what virtue signaling is, and you're using a buzzword to dismiss a point. I could not agree more. Modern day debate has been little more than a free stage for the worst fucking people and the worst fucking ideas for so long I can't actually remember a time when it wasn't. So maybe it always was. I think Hank is right. I think it might have always been like that. It just took a little while to get to the worst of the worst. Nobody should be giving that channel their traffic, and nobody should be giving James the time of day. I don't care whether he's a declared maggot omniphobe himself. I don't know, whatever. The fact that he happily platforms such people speaks volumes. If the standard you walk past is the standard you accept, the standard you amplify is the standard you support. That's a really good way to put it. This is a question that I've asked a few times, and it is, at what point does a Nazi sympathizer just become a Nazi? Right? How long do you need to be in the Nazi bar before you are just a Nazi? Because it's one thing to be in the Nazi bar before you know it's a Nazi bar. And then the Nazis come in and you're not really sure if they're Nazis for a little while. And then they make it very clear that they're Nazis. When do you leave? At what point do you leave the bar? Do you finish your meal or do you get up and walk out? Do you pay for your food or you just dine and dash? Because I feel like you might morally want to dine and dash. Because like at that point, it's not necessarily the bartender that's done anything except for, be the person that's letting the Nazis exist in the space. Right? So there's like a lot of questions, and I think different people are going to have different answers along this spectrum about what they personally would find acceptable, right? Dapper says if 4 people and a Nazi sit down at the table for a drink, there are 5 Nazis at the table. But if 4 people are Nazis and the 5th person doesn't know that the other 4 people are Nazis, and they sit down, how long do they stay seated before they find, especially after they find out that they're Nazis? Because if somebody sits down at a table and they have no idea that the people at the table are Nazis, that's not, I would point out, though, when you're in times of war, you don't have the opportunity to finagle that. You deal with all 5 of them. You're not sitting around having a debate deciding whether or not they're one of the good ones that just kind of got forced into this. Fuck James, fuck MMD, and fuck debate bro culture. Yeah, debate bro culture sucks. Debate bro culture fucking is ass. I now am I now I assume they mean am, they mean I now am an even bigger fan of Dapper Dinosaur. Well said, sir. Stopped watching his debates after realizing he gives zero fuck about the people. The man knits a sweater and throw blanket while hosting a debate. Yeah, don't do that. This is a great way to ensure that progressives remain in an impermeable bubble of mutual admiration and unfounded supposition. It's a shame that so many people can't divorce their rational support for the fact of evolution from their unexamined political prejudice? What? Huh? You don't have to sacrifice your morals on behalf of spreading the good word of evolution. What the fuck are you talking about? That doesn't make any fucking goddamn sense. Dave, you're the problem, says Feline. Yeah. Bro, my guy, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't need to sacrifice your personal principles and morals just for the sake of spreading the word of something that is already, like, on the table. Templar Warden says, oh, hey, a Nazi. Yeah, look, guys, we found the Nazi. Yeah, not driving at Nazi bars isn't unexamined. Yeah, I think you meant drinking, though, Dapper. But hey, you have fun with drinking there. Yeah, to assume, to presuppose, because that's what they're doing. This is presupposition. This is projection, because this person is actually doing the presupposition. They're presupposing that Dapper's belief or understanding of evolution is intertwined with his political beliefs, and he can't just hold both opinions independently, or examine them independently, or even examine them together and how they're intertwined, because guess what? Social evolution is a thing, and part of that is politics, and all of it is actually philosophy. But if you break philosophy down, it's all just kind of psychology and how your brain works, and then that is actually just chemistry, which is also just physics, so everything is math. Thank you for proving a great example of well poisoning irrationality that passes for argument amongst progressives. First off, how do you know Dapper's a progressive? You cannot like Nazis and be a conservative. Just saying. In fact, you can basically be anything but a Nazi and not like Nazis. In fact, you can be a Nazi and also not like other Nazis, but sure. How? In what way? That's not well poisoning. If they're Nazis, they're Nazis. It would be well poisoning if they weren't Nazis, maybe, if that was the point or argument that Dapper was making, but that is not the point nor the argument that Dapper is making. This is not a video exposing James and Modern Day Debate as a Nazi bar. It is a well-established fact that Modern Day Debate is a Nazi bar. Dapper doesn't need to explain gravity every time he wants to play baseball. What are you talking about? Dapper likes Star Trek, proof he's progressive. Maybe he is, but this person isn't having that conversation. Right? Me initially. This seems extreme. Me upon hearing he had Nick Fuentes on. Oh, this seems quite reasonable. Also, this comment was made by somebody named Nasty Hobbits, and I'm gonna upvote them just for the name. I also refuse to debate Jim Bob on evolution. I told him to read JF... Oh, no! No! Not JF! On the revolutionary phenotype and asked him if he wants it read to him. Jim Bob needs a college course and some counseling, not a debate. Agreed, he hasn't understood the most basic aspects of the topic. Okay, so I have a question for Dapper. Dapper, you didn't say no to James because of Jim Bob, right? You said no to James because it's James and Modern Day Debate is a Nazi bar. So, separate question, would you debate Jim Bob if it was on a platform that was a better platform? JF is sketchy? Dude, JF is beyond sketchy. I've watched some of JF's shit. He's basically been running around saying how he definitely didn't kill Mama JF. Definitely didn't. Yeah, Dapper says, I said no to James because Modern Day Debate is a Nazi bar. Right. Yes, we finished the video. We're looking at the comment section now. This is why some things are better to be discussions than debates as well. Sometimes a discussion is more productive than a debate itself. I would educate Jim Bob. He is physically incapable of debating near as I can tell. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So you'd be willing to be on stream with him to have a conversation. Do I need to call up Jeff Holiday? Because I will call I will call up Jeff Holiday to come and do his JF voice. Hello, are you talking about me? Oh no, not JF. Hank O'Flamo. Please tell me why you're telling people to read JF, because I have this is a whole different can of worms. You've never heard of JF? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to introduce Dapper to JF, and I am not sorry, but have fun with that. Haha, Jim Bob is none of those things, dingus. Well, good thing that Dapper wasn't talking about Jim Bob, he was talking about fucking Modern Day Debate. He was on Non Sequitur Show back in the day. Yeah, he was. He was on a couple of episodes of, he was in the episode that notoriously got Non Sequitur Show in trouble because they brought on, I believe it was it G-Man and JF at the same time? It was oh wait, it might have been who was it? Either way, they ended up agreeing about ethnostates, and it was very funny, but, like, very poorly handled by Kyle and Steve. He also doesn't hide behind a cartoon character. You've never heard of JF either? Do I want to know what a JF is? Are you guys serious? Have you guys just missed out on JF? That's fucking really funny. He's a French-Canadian dude who's, like, fucking cool. He's in the Epstein files. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, no, he's in the Epstein files. I'm new to Jim Bob and have been having a low-key back and forth with him. Is he a white supremacist? Where can I find evidence of his stance on that? I'll happily hold him to the fire on it. Not in YouTube comments, but send me an email. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, the YouTube comment section is not necessarily... Oh, it's fucking conspiracy cats. Okay, that makes sense. James also took sponsorship money from a MAGA group for one of the recent debate cons. Yes, Mark, correct. When I was covering that, because I was looking at FTFE being on and debating with Rachel because he asked me to take a look at it, and when I was covering it, I saw this little thing pop up, his sponsorship show up, so I looked up what the sponsorship was on stream, talked about it, and then proceeded to grab a picture of Dapper's face and slap it on top so he could be Censored Dapper. Would you guys like to see Censored Dapper? I think I still have Censored Dapper around somewhere. It is like the shittiest shit-eating grin on Dapper's face you have ever seen in your life. You know, you guys would win a lot more debates if you just stuck with the facts and grew a spine. Modern Day Debates is a Nazi bar. That is a fact. Having a spine and standing up to Nazis is in fact having a spine. So, who ya talking to, bud? One little off-color joke that offends your politics from your opponent, and you go into pearl-clutching pretend outrage mode. Yeah, I don't think being opposed to ICE is pearl-clutching, and I don't think being opposed to, you know, genocide and, you know, wanting to kill trans people is a off-color joke that offends politics. Good try, though. Literally nobody thinks you guys look good when you do. Well, that's just patently untrue. Hello, everybody who thinks that looks good when you do it. Why do you think your biggest creators are all douchebag assholes? I don't know. Probably because YouTube sort of bolsters being a douchebag asshole. Like, there's an attitude for YouTube that YouTube likes and promotes, and it has to do a lot with ego. And when you have a lot of ego, you tend to be a bit of a douchebag and tend to be an asshole. So, like, it kind of comes with the territory of being a big YouTuber. So if you want, like, an example, Mr. Beast, douchebag asshole. Logan Paul, douchebag asshole. But you know, like, the bigger YouTube, there's like a handful that are not. And like they are exceptions. I would say like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier are not, but they also sort of predate YouTube's algorithm change that enabled that. Destiny, douchebag asshole. Bro asked, quote, if we were the last survivors on Earth, would you repopulate the planet with me? Got, I would literally end myself to avoid that, and still asks, so is that a yes or is that a yes or? That is a good interpretation. That is a very good interpretation of that email. Self-absorbed anti-theists. You mean the people at the forefront of the fight against Christian nationalists you claim to despise in the video? That was in severely poor taste. I'm gonna want a citation needed that. I'm gonna want a citation needed on that one real quick. If you guys don't mind if I can get a cite. Oh, I forgot I super zoomed it in because I got annoyed at something. I forgot I did this. Let's settle that down a little bit. Here you go. So there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. I'm not sure that anti-theists are. You know that not every anti-theist is self-absorbed, because that seems to be the case. Like, it's already good. God damn it. Do I really need to explain this? This person is just tattling on themselves. This person just thinks that all anti-theists are self-absorbed. You're tattling on yourself. Stop tattling on yourself. Not all anti-theists are self-absorbed. You can be an anti-theist and not be that. Dapper is not only saying not all anti-theists, he's not even saying all self-absorbed anti-theists. He's saying specifically the ones on modern day debates. And this dude got their panties in a wad over it. Zell for 5 says, trans flag emojis, trans rights are human rights. Hell yeah. Let me add this. Hold on, I gotta count to 7. Ba-doom, ba, 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 da, ba, da. We are 10% of the way to costumes. All right, anyway. I X to doubt on this. I really doubt that the people that are on James's channel are the people that are the forefront of fighting against Christian nationalists. So the bait and switch here is kind of cringe, guy. To put a group of people trying to fight the very harm you recognize on the same level as the other groups you mentioned shows a severe lack of empathy. No, it doesn't. It doesn't show. Empathy is not the word you mean here. That's not the word you mean. You mean something else. I would posit that please show me where on modern day debates are you seeing people dunking on and fighting against Christian nationalism. Citation needed. Where is that happening on modern day debates? Because that does not seem to be what is happening on modern day debates. Guys, do you think that's happening on modern... Chat, please. Please let me know. Do you think that's happening on modern day debates? Also, while you're making that decision, do me a favor and like the stream. Thanks. It makes me question to what degree you actually cared about anything you said as opposed to just being performative. Do better. Again, we're back to this word performative. What's performative is saying something this fucking stupid in a YouTube comment. What's not performative is actually arguing back with James and calling him out to his face, and then not just doing it in the background, putting it out for everybody to see. Dapper didn't just send this email back. He sent this email back, read it out loud on a live stream, and then made a video to make it more accessible so people would know exactly what his stance was on this situation. That's not performative, that's action. Please learn what words mean. What did Dapper say in response to this? No, I don't mean that. Of course that's not what Dapper meant, because Dapper was incredibly clear, and this person just fucking is just taking it out of context. Self-absorbed atheist is literally out of context. Dang, when I told James to take a hike, I just said, given the direction of your channel's content, further association seems unwise. I guess that's why I'm not the Pope of linguists. That's a good response too, though. It is a good response. It also, like, depends on when you did that. Was this recent? Was this a long time ago? I don't know. I think that's a perfectly fine... That is, you know what this is? This is the business appropriate response. This is like business casual. You're not gonna offer any proof that Jim Bob is a racist or any of the things you called him, are you? You're not gonna offer any proof? This wasn't a video about Jim Bob, guys. Check his channel, it's not subtle. He's not hiding it. This also wasn't really a fucking video about Jim Bob. It was a video about James and modern day debate. And it's not a video about exposing James. It's a video of what Dapper said in response to James. Not a video exposing modern day debate for being a fucking Nazi bar. Nobody really needs to make a video showing that James's modern day debate is a Nazi bar. All you need to do is look at the fucking channel. Like, you don't even have to watch the content to know it's a fucking Nazi bar. You just need to look at the fucking live stream. You just need to scroll through here and know who some of these fucking people are. Now, admittedly, you could probably go pick, like, the best of and go through and make that kind of a video if you wanted to, but that's clearly not what this video is. That's true. He also did bring up that Jim Bob did claim to be a noticer and then explained what it is. Feel free to share it. Okay, I will. I'll take care of that. Let's grab it. Let me grab it. Proof of Jim Bob being racist. Reparations for all. And then a gun. Oh, yes. Definitely not racist. What else we got? Oh, look. Racism. I don't feel like I need to actually explain these. I feel like I can just show them and you guys can handle that. Oh, look. On what grounds are you seeking asylum? Bad economy. Oh, look, racism. Oh, go fucking figure. All right. Jim Bob fans are painfully stupid. This man has fans? How can you be a fan of... do I need to pull up Jim Bob's channel too? And by racist, you mean thinking deporting illegals is okay. You mean this? You mean that racism? Unless the blue channel on the TV doesn't cover it, then you morons don't care. Oh, hey, that's the guy from before. Sounds based to me. He just sounds like a based guy. Okay, so you're just racist. Okay, fine. But, like, what are you arguing about then? Either he's racist and you're okay with it, or he's not racist and you're not okay with racism. The guy at the bottom of the first pic I sent you is also a white Christian nationalist, an open white Christian nationalist. This one, that guy. This is the weird thing about, you'll notice what's happening in this brief conversation is these people can't pick a lane. Either the racism is okay, or the racism isn't okay, right? They're saying you're not going to show proof that Jim Bob is racist. Oh, therefore racism is not okay if he were a racist. And then being like, oh, it sounds like he's actually just based. Ah, so the racism is okay and you're just racist. Well, fine. Then what are you complaining about whether or not Dapper showed one thing or the other? Pick a lane, right? This is just bait and switching. I decline the offer. Is that a yes? Ellipses. You're lucky he declined, James. Dodged a bullet there, PhD pal. That was funny. So we've gotten around Dapper's objection to being called the Pope of linguists. Does this mean Dapper is a linguist or the actual Pope isn't Catholic? Also, why isn't the I in Pope of Linguists capitalized? I thought titles like that were capitalized and a linguist would know that, but I could be wrong. Well, my Discord called me that and I opted not to edit it. Very funny. I gave up on James years ago, around the time Non Sequitur dive bombed. Yeah, hi, I see you. Hi. Hi, hello. Hi. Gave up on James years ago. Pretty sure modern day debate is where I first got to hear the turd pile known as G-Man. Yes. James was terrible at moderating, and the stronger personalities walked all over him. Nice letter. Yeah, that's a good summary, I think. Pibblemonk says, dude is so racist he photoshops people's noses to be bigger because he thinks that's a dunk. Oh, I understand. I see. So don't get me wrong, there's absolutely enough, really is, of flashy weirdos here on the European side of things, but the idea that evolution, not the details, but just the sheer concept itself, is up for debate for people in the United States seems like such a laughable matter. It never really seemed like a 21st century thing for anyone who had any more than a year of middle school education until I started watching videos by you, Erica, Dan, etc. And it remains a deeply troubling matter that it has enough of an audience that shitheads with no sense of respect for either themselves or other people can make money off of it. This is a really poignant thing. This is exactly what I was getting at earlier. This is an online debate culture problem. This is a really fucking good point. Personally, I support not interacting with them. They not only serve to promote the ill-supported extremist delusions, but anyone with any credibility, especially if they're genuine scientists, will only serve to reinforce the idea that their pseudoscience is credible. There is nothing to gain. Even their stock, well, we're being silenced by the cabal of liberal scientists, is preferable over their BS being associated with actual credible science. Yeah, because if they say we're being silenced by a cabal of scientists because they're not being invited onto channels, you're not being silenced by not being invited somewhere. Like, that's not how that works. So even that argument immediately falls on their face because, well, what platform are you even saying this on, right? So it fucking works, right? Fucking applies. Feline says that I was at the same point like 8 years ago. Yeah, this isn't the first time like I've had this conversation. It might be the first time I've had this conversation on this channel, but we've been talking about this since there was like a really large like over flooding of flat earth debate and flat earth content. And so like admittedly once you're in something it's hard to like if you're a YouTuber or if you're a content creator, it's really difficult to branch out to do other things. So if you are somebody who does do flat earth debunking or even young earth creationist debunking or any kind of like debunking and debates of that regard, you need to be really picky and choosy about your debate platforms and how you engage in debates. And they need to be held in a substantive way, which is something that Non Sequitur Show tried to do. It blew up. Modern day debate fucking didn't even try to have like legitimate debates. It's just dumpster fires all the time because you tell me. But there are ways to have these conversations in a productive manner, but having them the way they're currently being done, for the most part, not great. Because again, a lot of these things aren't debates. Evolution isn't up for debate. Flat Earth isn't up for debate. Dunking on somebody because they don't understand a particular thing? Sure. But is that really a debate? It could be like a formatted dunking, I guess. Welcome to Debate Hub. Yeah, thanks, Feline. Feline in the chat. Go to Debate Hub, where we try to have discussions about educational things. How do you get an email response but literally choose not to read 2 sentences to it? Yeah, an email response because you asked for a response. Did he just expect you to send, Dear James, yes, regards Dapper? Probably. That's probably what he wanted. There's a degree of like arrogance that a lot of people who have larger channels YouTube channels have when it comes to like a smaller creator. So I'm a far smaller creator than Dapper is, and Dapper's a far smaller creator than James is, than Modern Day Debate is, by subscriber number, right? And likely by the amount of money we make. That probably is relatively, you could probably track that. But the, when somebody who's a larger channel, they start thinking that anybody who's a content creator wants to be on their channel just for the exposure so they can grow their channels, because that is one of the best ways to grow your channel, is to show up on other larger platforms so your face gets out there, so who you are gets out there, so you can get shout outs, so people come and subscribe to your channel, right? It's part of like the ecosphere of the way channel growth works on the internet. And I mean, even like back in the day, some like the bigger channels were going on everything that they could get their hands on, right? But sometimes you have to have integrity, and sometimes growing in the channel number isn't as important as telling somebody to go fuck themselves. After your response, the only reply I could give is a link to Hooked on Phonics or ABC Mouse, because his reading comprehension is very distressing for someone with a high school degree, never mind a PhD. If you want to send a reply, by the way, you're welcome to the idea. Sending a link to Hooked on Phonics would be so fucking funny. Nah. The moon is made of cheese. Yeah, it's also a light source. The moon is a light source, but it's a light source because of the cheese. It's a bioluminescent mold that is growing on top of the cheese of the moon. James got canceled by most of the skeptical movement years ago over platforming literal Nazis. Seems like he's not learned anything, still chasing attention by giving the worst human specimens a ready stage for the deplorable verbal diarrhea. As for Jim Bob, all you need to know is his current video. It is the current videos Professor Dave has made on them coming after him. Really awful person, not worth bothering with. Modern Day Debate has shown time and time again that they cannot moderate if their lives depended on it. They can't. Not only can they not moderate the discussion they're having, they can't moderate their chat either. This pseudoscience part always has a deck full of get out of moderation cards, not even good at what they think they're doing. I'm not even convinced James thinks he's moderating anymore. I don't think he can handle the responsibility, so he just chooses not to try and doesn't care, so he just absolves himself from all participation. That's what I think, but I'm not a PhD in psychology. That's just my fucking opinion. I'm usually all for second chances, but having Spencer and Fuentes on is irredeemable. Well, conveniently, that's 2 chances. The one chance when you had this guy on, and the other chance when you had this guy on, well, that's 2. I most likely would have jumped directly to telling him that what he could eat a bag of. Thank you for this eloquent response. It was more than he deserves. But if we don't dignify bigoted hate as a serious and normal position, the people arguing in bad faith might never generously meet us halfway. On the right for some folks to peacefully exist. Mark is correct. This is actually, as sarcastic as this is a very good point. There is no fucking halfway point on some of these discussions and some of these arguments. The earth is not flat. There is no possibility that the earth is flat. In a hypothetical, sure, but in reality, it's not flat. This is not a fucking debate. There is no possibility that the opposing side is correct, and there's no halfway, midway in this fucking discussion. Same with evolution. Evolution isn't a halfway discussion. It is or it is not, and we know the answer. I have a simple rule. I won't debate with someone who wants my friends dead. That seems like a reasonable, guys, one in the chat, if you believe that this is a reasonable principle. Do you think this is a reasonable principle? I think this is a reasonable principle. I think there's wiggle room for this principle, though. So 1 in the chat if you think this is a reasonable principle, 2 in the chat if you think it's not. But I want to elaborate a little bit, because I do think there's some wiggle room here. And the reason that I think there is wiggle room, because I think there are in some contexts, in some spaces, you could do this, but not as a platform, not as a show, not as like something to be put out there. You might be able to do it with someone who you're friends with, whose mind you're trying to change. And you can do a debate setup to maintain the decorum of the discussion if the person is particularly volatile, or if you find that you get particularly volatile when you're having those fucking conversations. So I do think there is some wiggle room where this is feasible, but not in this context, which means I absolutely think this person is 100% correct. This is absolutely a reasonable principle to have. I also think that I would add that they don't necessarily need to be your friends. If it's a group of people who just wants this other group of people to be dead, I don't think you need to be friends with the group of people that they want dead to be like, nah, fuck you. I don't think you need to be friends. I don't think you need to be friends with people to treat people like they're humans. I don't think you need to be friends with a trans person personally to make that decision. For example. And if someone regularly hosts said people, then there's something wrong there. Yep, I would agree. These extremists want the poor dead, the LGBT community dead, and the disabled dead. Caring for people isn't up for debate, regardless of how many people seem to think that struggling is a moral failing. See, now that is a discussion. There, you could have a really, really interesting discussion as to where the fuck does this idea come from? Why are there people that think that that struggling to, like, exist in society is a moral failing? This is like when people say you're lazy and you're morally failing if you don't get up before noon, regardless of whatever your work schedule is like, right? Like, that's a thing that people think. Why? Why do you think that? And, like, you could have a debate about, like, where that fucking comes from and, like, what that's about and how to deal with that or how to change people's minds. That would be a debate. That could be a discussion. Debating extremists isn't really, like, I think that's the key thing, right? It's the extremist that's the problem, right? You could debate caring for people. You could debate how to care for people. You could debate, like, policy and say, like, hey, this is a policy that I think would be really, really helpful, or I think this policy would really help people. And somebody's like, well, no, that policy is not going to work. I think this policy is a better policy. That you could debate. That's a debate. That would be an interesting debate. There are 9 replies to this. Excellent. Clap. Unfortunately, a rule like this just concedes ground to the people who we both dislike. How? In what way? What way do you guys have a thought about, like, how that might be the case? You make yourself weak and them strong by giving them this position of power over your actions. Oh, you're just stupid. Okay. You're not giving them power over your action. You're the one who made the decision. That's It doesn't mean that there can't be exceptions to the rule sometimes. Oh, this person is like an incredible literalist. This person needs to change their name from Drake to Drax. Unless you are pro the abolition of all legal order, you can't kill them. So all you can do is fight intellectually, politically, and socially for your cause. Okay, but that you don't need to debate an extremist who wants your friend dead to do any of those things. That is fallacious, by the way. Oh yeah, this is very fallacious. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's more than one fallacy going on here. Directly confronting scum and exposing the horror of their real views is the most effective tactic. See, now this is a debate. You can have a debate about this. Because now you're not platforming the Nazis, you're debating about why you should or should not platform Nazis. You could have a debate about that. That's a debate. That's a real discussion. Platforming is absolutely a valid debate or discussion to have. There's also a difference between confronting scum and profiteering off of fucking a show that just lets scum be scum and platform their ideas to everybody. Because what modern day debate is, if I wanted to be like aggressive in my language, I say James is profiteering. He's an opportunist. He doesn't necessarily hold any value. He's just going to do whatever he thinks is going to give him the most profit. And whatever that profit looks like, the profit might not only be in like a monetary thing. It could, like, profit could be like clout, numbers, feeling like you're better than other people because your numbers are bigger than somebody else's. He's an opportunist. He's an opportunist who's profiteering. He's a snake oil salesman, right? He's a con artist. He's pretending he's presenting debates and a neutral ground and intellectual discussion, and he's not providing that at all. That is not what you're getting when you go to modern day debate. If you think that's what you're getting when you're going to modern day debate, congratulations, you've been conned. Again, that's if I was being aggressive in my language, which I am. Fuck you, James. Am I gonna hurt your feelings? Dude, you hang out with Nazis, I don't care. No, it's not, because doing so entertains that they have anything worth hearing. Yeah. Worth hearing. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Confronting and calling them out is not debating. A debate is a formal or semi-formal situation where both sides are positioned as equal. Good point. And give it an equal time to present their arguments. It validates their vitriol and hate. Correct. I'm going to need a citation on the efficiency of debating people who refuse to listen. Yes! If well-reasoned, evidentially supported argument were all it took to convince people and enact change, then, to pick one example, why has the IPCC so comprehensively failed to convince the US government of the urgency of climate change? This is a really good point. It really seems like you're living in a West Wing fantasy, which is precisely the kind of blind idealism that fascists targeted the first time around. So there's something else to deal. Like, there's another really good point baked in here that they don't explicitly say, but like kind of imply. The United States thinks it's one thing and has been sold something that it definitively is not. Freedom. Is modern day debate is just Jerry Springer for debate shows. I think it's worse than that. Jerry Springer seems to be, for the most part, harmless. Like, maybe not totally harmless, but it's not like... I think modern day debate is worse than Jerry Springer. Why do you imagine wants your friends dead? Sorry, who do you imagine wants your friends dead? There we go. Brain, thank you for catching up. I'm an atheist, but I see your claim as utterly ridiculous, because being an atheist is independent. Your belief in God doesn't matter. Why do atheists always do this? What was that word that Dapper used earlier? What was it? Self-absorbed? Was that the word? Hold on, I'm gonna go find it. Self-absorbed anti-theist. This is the exact example of what Dapper's fucking talking about. I'm an atheist, but I see your claim as utterly ridiculous. Why the fuck are you telling people you're an atheist? Irrelevant piece of information. Nobody fucking cares. It does not matter. Being an atheist is completely in your belief in God is independent of whether or not you think the earth is flat, whether or not you fucking think the evolution is true, and whether or not you think Nazis are good or bad people. Being an atheist is completely fucking independent. Oh, hey, JL, what's going on? Good to see you. Bridge the divide, everybody. God. I wrote a long paragraph, but then YouTube lost it, so I'll be brief. The far right don't want LGBT people to exist. They don't want healthcare for the poor. They're fucking Nazis. It's baked into the idea. It's baked into the ideology, my guy. It's literally baked into the ideology. They don't want hiring protections against discrimination. These policies kill people. I mean, you could also look at the how many people have died because of the cuts to USAID, right? The current number. Let's pull it up. USAID. There's a, sorry, give me 1 second to find it. Desk tracker, here it is. Did I find it? Yes, I did! Tracking anticipated deaths from USAID funding cuts. It is currently at 124,377 adult deaths and 258,673 child deaths and 88 deaths per hour. This was updated as of June 2025. It's not that they want people killed, it's that they are killing people. ICE has killed people. ICE has done summary execution. This is not like this isn't like a fucking game. This isn't like a hypothetical. Like, this isn't an imagination. This isn't a delusion. There is video footage of this fucking happening. There are children, there are adults, there are people of any ethnicity, of any fucking sexual orientation, of any religion. Doesn't fucking matter. People are dead and people are dying because of the people that modern day debate is amplifying with his assistance. He is helping them. That's the fucking problem. This isn't a hypothetical of something that might happen if we do this. It's a thing that is actively and currently happening. LGBT have high rates of suicide because of them, and without healthcare or jobs, disabled people die. This isn't even mentioning eugenics and anti-vaxxers, yeah. James is complicit. James is more than complicit. If James was just complicit, it would happen sometimes, once in a while. It wouldn't be basically literally all the time. And he would be more fair. And he's not fair on his platform. The way he handles things differently. He does that fake neutrality thing that we've talked about before. He's doing that fake neutrality thing where he's like, I'm going to present both of these ideas as if they're equally valid and have an equal amount of consideration given to them, and then has to step on one side to balance the fucking equation. Then you must have missed all the people. Yeah. Is that a yes? Seriously? Yeah, that's arrogance. That's James's arrogance coming out. That's him being snide. That's him giving a snide response to Dapper. That's what that is. Oh, Dapper 1, I think a clear, concise response like Groiper would be entirely appropriate. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Way too much soy in you, kid. Fucking soy, dude. Oh, look, it's me! Things got so cringe in the debate world, we need to start again. If only there was a place to do that. Hey, consider subscribing to Debate Hub. Like, actually, I am more than willing and more than happy to host and vet all of these fucking debates and discussions. I am more than fucking happy to do so. It's not even monetized right now. I am more than happy to do that. And you know who's actually a good moderator? This guy. You want to know how you know I'm a good moderator? Besides the moderation that I've done, besides like the direct one-to-one conversations I've had with people who hate me and people who aren't sure about me, even besides those examples, James asked me to fucking be a fucking moderator partner way back in the day. way back in the day. Like, right, if not before fucking Non Sequitur Show exploded, like, right on the cusp of, like, right in that area. My guy. I'm a great moderator. Notably, Jim Bob himself is also a Christian nationalist and pretty odious human. Got that impression from looking at his channel. I can go out of my way to do my best to ensure that there's no Nazis on my channel. You know what we do when Nazis show up? We start throwing bricks. Please use the brick emoji in the chat if you see a Nazi. Might as well be debating atomic theory on trial. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Really good point. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we were talking about. Oy vey, just do the debate. No! Fuck you. Why are there 7 replies to this? A concession is a lost. It's not a concession. That's... Oh, okay. Okay. Did a bunch of the... Oh, some shit got deleted. Oh. I have never partaken of the modern day debate content, something for which I am increasingly pleased every time I hear it mentioned. Hear, hear! You're better off not subjecting yourself to Jim Bob. That aside, a trial and a debate are not the same thing. Very good point. Very, very good point. I was going to talk about that earlier, but I kind of forgot about it. That also reminds me, I need to make a new brick emoji because the brick emoji on YouTube sucks. So I'm going to make a new brick emoji on Thursday. On Twitch, live, if you're interested. If you're a member, you will get access to that VOD probably this weekend. That Scroat just declined with debate with cats, where he was challenged to bring evidence of God and creationism. So your response is totally fair play. Yeah. I tend to avoid that channel for the same reasons, though I'm eager to watch Ruhif destroy infamous flat earther Nathan Thompson tomorrow. Do people actually enjoy watching Nathan Thompson? Do people actually enjoy watching Nathan Thompson? Is that like do people act like, if you do, can you please let me know and tell me why? Like, why do you enjoy watching Nathan? What about Nathan Thompson makes him entertaining to you? If there ever was an example of taking candy from a baby, this should be one. Welcome to the bottom of the barrel. So sometimes dumpster fires are okay. I think dumpster fires are fine, but I think they need to happen naturally, and I don't think that modern day debate is a natural dumpster fire. This is pathetic. This is the first of your videos I've seen, and I couldn't have a lower opinion of you. Good. You have pineapple sauce? Good. Who are you? Just someone who saw a video of yours and left a comment. Listen, if you'd like Nazis, nobody here wants you to like them. In fact, I go out of my way to make sure that people who are Nazis and people who are like that don't like me. Like, that is something that I actively participate in when it comes to the way I behave online. The way I behave online is to purposefully piss off the people that I want to be pissed off at me. I don't want people like Nathan Thompson to like me. I don't want James to like me. I don't want people like Jim Bob to like me. Why the fuck would I want somebody like that to like me? They're shitty people. Does a cinder block count as a brick? Yes. It is a larger brick. Is a brick a subset of a cinder block, or is a cinder block a subset of a brick? What's the phonology of bricks? We need to find somebody who does bricks. Dapper makes me believe there is hope for the United States. No. If you don't debate, you lose the debate. Are you 5? That's not how that works. You don't lose a competition by not participating in the competition. You just didn't participate. You certainly don't win, necessarily. Not that competition. You might win something else, though. That's part of the thing. This is such like a childish, narrow mindset. Sometimes you can choose not to debate or not to participate in a competition because what you get from a fucking debate is worth less than what you get from not participating in the debate. And again, Dapper didn't just not participate in the debate, right? He fucking made a video telling James exactly where to shove it. So he didn't just not debate. He also told James to go fuck himself. By Nazi, you mean not the exact flavor of left I am, right? No, we mean Nazi. No, we mean Nazi. Not really. Not entertaining fascists is not giving them a platform. They deserve rejection and ostracization, not consideration. I agree with Wendy. I think Wendy's correct here. If you don't want to do the debate, just don't do it. It's a neutral debate platform. No, it is not. You've been conned. If you think that modern day debate is a neutral debate platform, you need to reevaluate. Is there anybody here, anybody in the chat, or anybody lurking who is comfortable with saying something in the chat? One in the chat, if you think modern day debate is a neutral debate platform. 2 in the chat if you believe it is not a neutral debate platform. I just want to know if there's anybody who actually thinks that it is. I don't believe it is. Does anybody actually believe that it is? Two, yeah. Two. So even if the intention is for modern day debate to be a neutral platform, it is not succeeding at doing so. At least it is not succeeding in perception. You have to actually put work into being neutral. Yeah, I mean, you would have to actually moderate the discussion. And James notoriously does not moderate shit. So some people will have ideas you dislike. Yeah, that's not a problem. Having an idea that I don't like, or having an idea I don't agree with, is not really the issue. In before, but bigotry can never be debated because it's so evil. Yeah, nobody's argued that. Nobody's argued that at all. How can you come to such a conclusion if you refuse to engage with it? You don't have to engage with people directly to have opinions about the shit that they say. Are you fucking stupid? Have you spoken to Donald Trump? Do you have opinions about what Donald Trump has said and done? You don't have to directly interact with somebody to fucking have opinions about them. That's... God, why are you so stupid? Why are these people so fucking dumb? Your negative position can't come from rationality if there's a rule against debating it. You don't have to debate to come to a conclusion. You don't have to have you personally debated whether or not you like grapes or oranges or if you prefer a certain type of cereal? No, and people aren't rational. Rationality comes after emotion, not before it. The order of events is, I feel some way about something, and now I need to rationalize. If you want a really good fucking example, look at the Pixar movie Inside Out. What happens, stimulus happens to Riley. It goes into Riley's brain. Riley's emotions then have a discussion and a debate amongst themselves, and then action gets taken. That is actually a really good depiction of what happens. So, no, you don't have to fucking debate with the person to fucking have an opinion about something. That's not how this is so delusional. Like, that is just not based in reality at all. You don't have you can never participate in a debate once ever. How many beliefs and positions do you guys think Prester Jonathan has that he's never debated? Have you been in a debate though? Is not an argument. So where does it come from? You can come to a conclusion about what someone is without directly interacting with them. You might have to observe them to make that conclusion, but if I want to come to a conclusion that modern day debates is platforming Nazis, all I have to do is go to modern day debates and look for Nazis. If we can come to the conclusion that Bob is a fucking Nazi and James is asking Dapper to have a debate with Bob, then we know that modern day debates is fine with hosting Nazis. Because he's the one who proposed the debate, you fucking moron! Oh my god! How many levels of qualia do we have to fucking dive through to find out this guy's just racist? Also, your debate wouldn't even pertain to such topics you feel shouldn't be debated. You've missed the point. Probably on purpose. You don't want to do a non-social issue-related debate on Modern Day Debate because Modern Day Debate has hosted speakers who have social views you dislike, which is hilarious because your audience is far too small to affect anything like that. That's not how that works. That is not how that works at all. You'd be surprised because, again, numbers are bullshit. And you never know who's watching, and you never know who's watching in the future either. because these videos stay up and they stay there for a long period of time. Just the other day, I found a YouTube channel about puppets, and I was watching and checking out the content. Found out that guy's been dead for like a year and a half. Fucking oops. Cool channel though. But yeah, that's just not how that works. Being small is not an excuse to just not care. In fact, you should probably care a lot. You're not going to send a bunch of unwitting followers to alt-right pipeline because you expose them to modern day debates. So you admit that modern day debate is an alt-right pipeline? I think you might have just undermined your entire comment, my friend. Also, it's very silly to pretend that, like, this kind of debate is not a social issue. Like, that's fucking absurd. Reading is woke anyway, I know. Reading comprehension. Oh my god, there are 18 replies. I will note that neutral doesn't mean unbiased. Treating fascists and racists as equal players might by some definition be neutral, but it is also highly biased. You might be able, I think Robert makes a good point, you might be able to contextualize that in a way to make it maybe. It depends on the context, I guess. In this context, I would say no, but I think you could probably come up with a way to make that work. How so? Oh, okay. Oh, hey, this guy's back again. Man, Shockwave Syndrome 6433 is having a really bad time. They were really upset by this video. They're having a very emotional response. Oh yeah, no surprise they don't have any content. Of course they don't. You people! Drink for you people. Have safe, edgy groups to hate for no reason. You laugh when Christians and Republicans die, and you use some boo-boo ass logic to defend it. I would like to point out that this tracker is not related to, does not exclude Christians. By the by. I don't think ICE is asking for people's fucking religious paperwork. You're hateful also. You just can't argue because you freak out if someone says a meanie head word. Oh, not a meanie head word. Just debate and prove them wrong. If you think debating is dumb and doesn't prove anything, it doesn't, then just don't. Shockwaves should stop typing for their own sanity, says Orange. Yeah. Puts people in camps. Oh, that guy is why anti-theists are part of the problem. Prixie, good call out. Good point. Good point. There is no neutrality with Christo-fascists and white supremacists. You're against them or you're a collaborator. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid, I think that's a pretty fair delineation. I think you can make that. Hear me out. What if I don't? What if I don't hear you out? What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna cry? Because that seems to be what you do. It seems like Shockwave is like, hear me out, as they like demand and belittle people and they demand to be heard. Like, let's say they were literally just as far right and hated gays and women even more. The catch is that they are a group of people you aren't allowed to critique, so you just ignore them and pretend they don't exist. What? Orange was right. You need to stop typing for your own sanity. In fact, you might need to stop typing for my sanity. What? What is this half thought? Actually crashing out. Angry at a video they didn't watch, I know. Feline said, and the weird thing is, this tribalism about religion is mostly concentrated in the United States. Here in Europe, it is simply compared to the US non-existent. No, does not exist, just less. Yeah, Canada's the same way. There's a couple of pockets, but, religion is not nearly as big of, an issue, quote-unquote, in the United States, or in Canada, as it is in the United States. You're hateful also. Admission. Every accusation is an admission. This guy is so angry. I almost want to respond to this with just, what? Well, wouldn't the way to go against Christo-fascists and white supremacists be to debate them? No, it wouldn't. You could, let's have a debate about that. That's a debate you could have. What do you think? Bring to the table what you think the best way to go against Christo-fascists or white supremacists is. And then come up with your argument, and we can have a debate of different people bringing forward their ideas of what they think is the best way and why. And that would be a great debate. Do you guys want to have that debate? Who is interested in having that debate, and who is interested in being the debaters? If you would like to be a debater in that, let me know. Leave me a comment. Call me. I would absolutely host the shit out of that. But here's the thing. Dapper wasn't going to have a conversation or a debate about the Christo-fascist, white supremacist shit. He was going to debate them about evolution, which is a different fucking thing. So this guy is fucking bait and switching the fucking topic. Isn't that how you oppose someone in civil society? Maybe if they were a civil person to begin with, but we're not dealing with civil people. A Nazi is not a civil person in the first place. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't discuss and debate and get somebody out of and away from being a Nazi. You can do that. You can discuss your way out of that, but it's under very, very specific circumstances, and those circumstances are not present, and that context is not a precedent on modern day debates. Period. It is not. That is not what's happening there. You're not fucking, that's not what it is. History has shown time and time again that the answer to this question is no. Tell me you don't know the paradox of tolerance. I knew it would come up. Without telling me you don't know the paradox of tolerance. To entertain that fascists have anything to bring to the table in itself is paradoxical. You don't defeat fascism by entertaining it. You defeat fascism by pointing it out, calling a spade, and proceeding with social consequences such as rejection and social ostracization. In a civilized society. Civilized, schmivilized. Who needs that? Because that's when we go to war. And then does war happen in a civilized society? I'm not saying I'm Canadian, and I'm not saying that I got a little bit of that French in me, and I'm not saying that there's like a little bit of a cultural desire to be like, oh, is that a Nazi? Time to do a war crime. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that, yes, that would be a civil way to deal with things, as well as like laws and enacting laws and consequences to those sorts of things. But again, you have an issue in the United States of like the U.S. prison system is more of a punishment system than a reform system. So you might want to also shift the United States away from its current for-profit prison system to something else. Wendy, by the way, is nailing it in these comments. Absolutely nailing it. Maya in the chat said, good to see you, by the way, Maya. James has told people he's more interested in growing the channel than reining people in. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes. Yes. If fascism always wins when you have a rational debate, what's the implication of that? What? Who said fascism always wins in a debate? Oh, guys, I think they might have just outed themselves as the fascists. Oh, no. Ninja Jester for 2 months, who's been a member for 2 months at the Gooblin intern level, thank you very much. Like the German way of dealing with them, fines. Yeah, fines works. There's lots of ways. Education and reformation is not a bad thing. You don't debate those who believe in facts or truth. Yes, you don't debate a pigeon. If I choose not to play chess with a pigeon, did I lose that chess game? Right? If I start trying to debate with a wall, or if I refuse to debate a wall, did I lose the debate? Fascism never wins in a debate. It depends on what the debate's about. Are you saying, like, you're debating fascism, like fascism is good, or are you debating a fascist? Like, if fascism always wins when you have a rational debate, this is a nonsensical sentence. This doesn't make any sense as soon as you break this sentence down. That it debates in a manner similar to the way a pigeon plays chess. Wow. What are the odds? What are the odds? Oh my god. I mean, there are chess onlookers persuaded that the pigeon won within your analogy. Not every debate has to be hosted on a channel. You can have a debate, like, amongst yourself and the other person. We're back to not every discussion needs to be a debate either, right? Not every fucking conversation is a debate. Unless you're categorizing a debate as a type of discussion, or you're saying a debate is a subset of discussion. You know, I would probably say debates are a subset of discussion. I think a discussion can be, like, debate in spirit, right? I do think I have seen some people who could manage to win chess against a pigeon, just gotta chain that pigeon down so they can't fly away after they shit. I think I've seen some people that I think would lose chess to a pigeon. But alright. Considering that only the pigeons remain in the audience. Okay, maybe I'm dense, but what is this an analogy for? Are you trying to say that fascists appeal to some primitive, non-rational urge in the audience, such as they can bypass the logical process? Bypass the logical oh my god. This person actually thinks that human beings are rational. Human beings aren't rational. Rationality is an after effect. It's something we do that is useful, not something that we are. Like, go find me a rational toddler. J.L. Warren said, this is the problem I see with the Christian nationalism versus secular humanism debate. It boils down to emotion. Better to debate moral realism and moral anti-realism. That's a good point, yeah. Sometimes there are ways to reframe on, like, if you take a debate that's not useful and not really a good debate to be having, there are ways that you could, like, pick it up and change, like, shuffle it around and change it and make it a useful and good debate, right? Debate presumes, hey, it's reason to doubt. What's up, Jordan? Debate presumes that the other viewpoint is worthy of consideration. Oh, hey, that's something that Dapper said earlier in the side chat. Someone who wants me, my friends, and my family dead doesn't get that consideration. Yes. There's levels of respect, right? To be in a debate, you have to reach a bar, and that bar is not the same bar. The bar for having, like, respect for somebody in that they are a human being is lower than the bar to be in a debate or a discussion with somebody. You're investing time, you're investing energy, you're investing a lot of work, emotional energy as well. Your knowledge, like, there's a lot that you go into when you're going into debate, especially a real debate, right? You got to do research, you got to get your notes, you got to get your tactics down, yada, yada, yada. And even besides all that, and being willing to do that shit, you have to treat the other side as if it is on equal footing as yours for a real debate. And there's a higher bar than just acknowledging that someone is a human being. This person is literally asking, sorry, not Jordan, but, like, this person is literally asking that we treat the fascists better than they're willing to treat anybody else. Handedly is what is being discussed here. But you aren't tolerant either. You literally will cut off and throw abuse at anyone who even disagrees on one issue. Okay, so minimizing by calling it one issue is blatant minimization of problematic shit and that people are dying. Oh, I just killed one person. That's only one issue. I only fucked one sheep. That's just one issue. Why are you making it weird? Why are you being mean to me? I just did one murder. And no, you do not tolerate the intolerant, right? And where is the throwing abuse? Show me where. Citation needed, my friend. They just don't debate because their opinions aren't popular. Nobody cares about socialism. Nobody cares about winging about meanie head words anymore. This guy seems really upset. Literally when, again, the only thing I am intolerant of is intolerance, same as anyone else here. I don't associate with people who support the harm of my neighbors. It's not about political party lines, it's about human rights, which are non-negotiable. Anyone who disagrees is intolerant and not worthy of debating. JL Warren, hey, good to see more people standing against modern day debates. Bullshit rageonomics format. It is rage baiting. Rage baiting is very popular on YouTube. YouTube actually needs to do something about it, but I don't know what that something is. I think Google is dealing with a problem right now where they don't understand their own algorithm anymore, and so they kind of just need to turn it off and start from scratch, but if they turn it off, it's too integrated and will shut down too many things, so they can't really control it at this point. That's just speculation on my part, though. I don't actually know that. Twitter is amazing at rage bait. Yes, it is. I didn't know the dude was that stupid, just that he was a nitwit. Yeah, fair enough. Of course evolution is on trial. I was born human, and so far I am still a human. No evolution. I don't know any animal that was ever born one thing and evolved into something else, so clearly no evolution. Joke. I'm glad that they put joke. Good job. Caught this on stream, but it was a good listen, and I appreciate the sentiment. Keep up the good work. Your community is fantastic, and you're not so bad yourself, Dapper. Thanks for articulating everything that's wrong with clickbait. We're just providing a space for conversation enablers of the worst of humanity. Yeah. Here's a reason Jim Bob is getting more and more popular. This sort of idiotic behavior you are doing is why stupid people win. Great, you had a temper tantrum, achieved absolutely nothing, sounded like a Redditor, alienated most people, and Jim Bob will say evolutionists are scared. Good job. Yeah, but why do we care what Jim Bob says? This is the problem. This right here is exactly the fucking problem, right? Why do we value what Jim Bob says? We don't. There is no reason to value what Jim Bob says. His opinion doesn't matter. It's not worth dick shit. Why do we care? Why do we have to put additional value onto these bad people with objectively bad ideas? We don't need to value their opinion. That's not necessary. Tell me why we should. Okay. This is your idea of a tantrum. You must be very sheltered. Good point, Jamie. Every person gets to decide who to spend time with, and don't blame anyone for not giving time to Jim Bob, Andrew Wilson, Tate, Fuentes, fuck them all. Yeah, I agree. This will just empower Jim Bob, as no one will debate him. You played yourself. Why? How? How is not giving Jim Bob a platform and letting him scream into the void of his own channel how does that empower him in any way, shape, or form? It doesn't. Empower him to do what? Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Empower him to do what? Nothing? Cry? Do you play chess with pigeons? Empower him would be, I don't know, entertaining him and bringing him onto a platform with 242,000 subscribers? Maybe? Evolution is a racist theory anyway. Oh, is it? People groups evolve differently because they live in different environments for many generations. See, now that maybe you could debate. Does evolution invoke or enable racism? You might be able to do that. That could be interesting. I think it would need some tweaking to make it a productive debate rather than like a piece of shit debate. But like that, what are the social conversations about the social effects of evolution? Ninjester for 5. Monocle. To play devil's advocate, it was rather mean to call him a pelagic tunicate. Absolutely called for, but mean-spirited. Yeah! Sometimes being mean is justifiable. It's like when you read Am I the Assholes? In Am I the Asshole, sometimes you are the asshole, but you are a justified asshole. And I think that's an important distinction. Dapper responded with K. Found the Hovanite. Points dramatically with both arms. Ah! I'm racist, and I believe in evolution. I mean, yeah, sure. You can be racist and believe in evolution. Being racist or not is independent of whether or not you believe evolution is true. It's not a prerequisite. You have to be stupid to be a racist, though. Fits of Rage says, I know, right? That's why those evolution teaching universities fought tooth and nail against desegregation and banned interracial dating until the 90s. Oh, wait, my bad. That was Bob Jones University, beloved by Christian creationists everywhere. Wow, that response. Anyway, it was just as enjoyable hearing it here as it was on stream. I feel like Dapper's reading out the email is more entertaining than the debate would have been had Dapper gone to do it. Being called a pelagic tunicate is a compliment, not an insult. Oh, see, now that could be a debate as well. Can we debate whether being calling somebody a pelagic tunicate is a racial slur? If he can read that stuff and wonder if it's maybe a yes, he either has negative reading comprehension or his other guests send him insanely abuse-filled emails that are confirmations. I think he was just being sad. He was just being a dick. That was my opinion. We are 3 away from unlocking the spice in Super Chat, so if you want to get us there, that'd be great. I also need to add that extra 5 over here, don't I? I do! Also, don't forget to like the stream and share it if you want. Vidalia says, I can't believe I had James as a guest 6 years ago. I mean, I can. It was 6 years ago. I guess you don't know people until they reveal themselves. Like my ex-roommate, before I let him stay in my house, I didn't know he was a bigoted anti-vaxxer. Ooh, that's rough. They're an ex-roommate for a reason. One thing I'd like to toss out there, the Nazis during the 40s were not confined to Germany. As has become painfully obvious in the here and now, they were everywhere and always need to be dealt with. Compartmentalizing them to Germany is another way of empowering the ones that aren't there. Are they German, though? Now, this is a fair point. I am sure you don't need that reminder, but I thought the general clarification wouldn't hurt. Also, thanks for the response. Yeah, there was a Nazi party in Canada at the time. You know who was part of that Nazi party? Elon Musk's grandparents or parents? I can't remember which. Also, thanks for the response. Just because there is always more than one side doesn't mean that all sides should get equal time and respect. And platforming the less savory actors smacks of the play by both sides card. JB can't debate evolution. Jim Bob can't debate evolution. He doesn't know terms. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, Jim Bob, let's see who you really are. Pulls off mask. Ken Hovind. Yes. Oh my god. Alright, James asks for evidence, then runs away. He's an evangelist who became religious to get his sins erased. Pathetic guy. Well, he's not doing a very good job, because he's doing a whole hell of a lot of that sinning, you know, by helping Nazis. Grandparents? Was it his grandparents? Yeah, Elon Musk's grandparents. And then they fled Canada, because Canada didn't like Nazis very much. And they moved to South Africa, if I'm remembering correctly. Fascists do not care about debate. They will go on shows like Modern Day Debate that pretend to be impartial and agnostic about the discussions they are hosting because they care about recruitment and propaganda. Gala. Yes. Yes, thank you. What a fucking fantastic point. Absolutely. This is the reason why you don't platform them, because they're not actually there to debate. They're not actually there to discuss. They're there to propagandize and get more people on their side. That's why the platforming matters. That's why the platforming matters. Because if nobody platformed them, they would be isolated to their own inner group and wouldn't really be able to get out of that group. And then you could still debunk them from that fucking group. Well done. If you care about your intellectual integrity, you should never host these ghouls. Ghouls is a good word. Otherwise, you are just doing internet blood sports while adding said ghouls. Yes. Fantastic. I'm not sure how valuable internet blood sports are, actually. I mean, maybe for entertainment value, but like, you guys let me know what you think. You let me know about internet blood sports. I think that's a different conversation for another day, but I think it is a conversation. Nestlig 2025. No, he is not blind or willfully ignorant. He is fully self-aware. He knows and he does not care about the noble purpose of rational discourse, nor about the fact that he's giving oxygen to dangerous people. He's just in it for the easy money. Yeah, it's probably true. He was just going to copy paste from the video, which was the bulk of this, but if James's response is damning, so I will add more remarks after the copy paste. Quote, modern day debates was never a good platform. Every debate I watched, James and most moderators they had would lay out rules, then let parties, usually pseudoscience people and or bigots, break those rules as often and as frequently as they liked until someone drew his attention back by directly addressing him. There's neutral, then there's whatever modern day debate was trying to be. Modern day debate becoming a platform to toxic bigots was inevitable. Yeah, I agree. And slapping James in the face with those facts was long past due. Hats off to you and your community for doing so, end quote. James's response indicates his breathtaking disinterest in the content of arguments. His response of is that a yes is pure ego, in my opinion. He gets together with people who will let him have an interesting clickbait debate, but doesn't care for what is actually happening, being debated, or the context in which the debates are taking place. To James, in the off chance you read this, I am non-binary. My existence and indeed my right to exist are not up for debate. Fascists, Christian fundamental nationalists, Sharia law proponents, communists, Leninism, Stalinism, Maoism, ultra-Zionists, etc. do not debate from a position of science and never have. They tell on themselves when they talk about high school biology. Well, that and like a lot of the arguments are more akin to trying to get an emotional response out of you. The science is far more in-depth, complicated, and beyond the understanding of most adults, let alone high schoolers. Nor are we disproportionately high threat to women or children. Indeed, the statistics demonstrate we are underrepresented among offenders while being over-policed. While I do not, in fact, represent trans women, trans men, Jews, and so many other minorities, they can be substituted in for the non-binary, and the stated facts will remain largely the same. Yet you bring on such dishonest operators, give them equal weight to actual experts, then let them spew the same damning rhetoric we've heard for years, decades, centuries, even millennia, with less than the bare minimum of pushback. And finally, if you manage to read beyond the first sentence, that is clearly more time than you invested in gauging Dapper's interest in appearing on your channel, I wish I could say thank you if that happens, but you've been being told this for years, and despite wanting to act with charity, I cannot bring myself to thank someone for doing less than the bare minimum and far too late at that. That's a good comment. Good comment, and I'm not going to add to it. Intrigue Feline says, which is why I disrespectfully decline the invitation. A clearer answer could not be given, yet it is incomprehensible to James, who claims to have a PhD. Even if there is verifiable evidence it is a genuine PhD, I consider it equal to be bought diploma mill degree. Get dunked on. Love this video. Fascists are not worthy of platforms and debates because debates and platforms become recruitment centers for fascism as soon as you give fascist debates a platform. Yes! Yes! Eternally screw fascism entirely, and ICE must be permanently destroyed. Throw a meteor at it. I confess I wasn't a fan of James since I first heard of him. Watching FTFE Erica go on there to debate, something about his whole vibe was just off. At that time, I chalked it up to simply not liking how he always distracted and never seemed to be fully there. But now I wonder if I was picking up Fate's hints of other things too. These are indicative of the other problems. So one of the things I like to try to do with why I do what I do and the discussions that I have is to try to help give people the words that they need and to explain things that they can't necessarily validate themselves. So like that ick factor, like what about this is throwing me off? So part of what I do here is try to give people that the verbiage that they're looking for. The lexicon, if you will. That's not the right word. The lexicon is not the right word. The word is vocabulary. Yeah, there we go. We got there. Once again, as a former watched of modern day debate, I fully endorse this response. At first, I thought this was a bit much beyond the first response, but then you share the reply, and it wasn't enough. Is that a yes or a no? Next time, send him links to the Library of Babel. Oh my god, I haven't thought about the Library of Babel in a really long time. That's very funny. I did not expect to be featured in this video, Rando from chat. Well, you're now also featured in this one. Congratulations. Dapper, this is not a good look. All right, Dapper, you ready? This isn't a good look. Complaining and winging. I guess this is supposed to be whining. Is that how you spell whining? That's not right, is it? Am I crazy? About how racist and fascist James's featured debaters are, true or not, just makes you sound like a self-righteous twat. Of course you and I don't know each other from a hole in the wall, so you turning down a debate, even one I think you would crush that obstinate moron Jim Bob in, does not bother me one way or another, but as a bro... Oh, he's whinging. Oh, whinging and whining. Whinging. Oh, okay. Got it. Is that how that's spelt? I feel like that's not how that's spelt. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. I'm not very good at spelling. I feel like if somebody says, but as a bro. I just thought I should let you know that ceding the battlefield to the enemy because of some sanctimonious notion of nobility does not do you any favors. Heatseeker. My guy, you sound like you've been huffing farts. Or advance the cause of combating idiocy. Dude, there is more than one way to skin a cat, my guy. You don't have to take every fucking debate. What are you talking about? It's just a lost opportunity to call Jim Bob a fucking moron to his face. Why? Why is that necessary? How is that even important in any regard? Let alone important comparatively to not platforming Nazis. Like, how are you fucking putting these even remotely on the same fucking field and expose his bullshit for the world to see? Ah yes, modern day debate. The world. My man puts hand on shoulder. Oh no, cringe asterisks. Get over yourself. My guy, I have this mirror I think you should probably take a look at. Oh, brother. 21 replies. I don't drink at Nazi bars. I guess you do. Have fun hanging out with Nazis. Reminds me of a saying that my old bar manager used to say. If you let one Nazi drink at the bar, the next thing you know, you're a Nazi bar. This Nazi bar thing isn't an MLK quote, but you are just an 80s mom pearl clutching about the devil. Prove it. See, this is no good. You don't owe me anything, but just saying Nazi over and over doesn't help you. It just makes you look immature. Why? Acknowledging that Nazis exist and they're a problem and they fucking get as soon as they're like glitter. As soon as you got a little bit of it, it gets everywhere. That's like a known fact. How is acknowledging a known fact a problem? Nobody's asking you to drink at a Nazi bar. Yes, they are, in the analogy. They literally are asking Dapper to go and hang out and have fun at a Nazi bar. That's just hyperbole you made up in your head. What? That's just hyperbole you made up in your head, as opposed to hyperbole I didn't make up in my head? Nobody cares that you don't like Nick Fuentes. No, I think people care. I think people very much care. If you like Nick Fuentes, I think that says a lot about you. If you don't like Nick Fuentes, I think that says some things about you. If you don't care about Nick Fuentes, I think that says a lot about you. If you don't know about Nick Fuentes, I'm jealous of you. The devil doesn't exist. Nationalist Christians do. Good point, Kyle. It has nothing to do with a prospective debate of Jim Bob. Yes, it definitively does, because this is an issue about the platform, not an issue about Jim Bob. Dapper would probably be willing to talk to Jim Bob on another platform, provided I vetted him properly and we decided it was worthwhile. Dude is throwing a tantrum that he's not getting his entertainment. Yeah, this is entitled as fuck. This guy is out here being like, get over yourself. Out here being the most fucking whiny bitch. I would say you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but there's no molehill, just a flat yard. Dude, Nazis are not a fucking Making a mountain out of a molehill about Nazis? Really? It doesn't make him look immature when their beliefs are actually described as those of Nazis. At best, you didn't/don't comprehend Dapper's reasoning. At worst, you're using a straw man. That's a good point, yeah. Dapper isn't going on modern day debates because he doesn't like Nick Fuentes. It's basically they have repeatedly and continued to platform pieces of shit like him, and Jim Bob is another example of that. 99% of people who already agree with Jim Bob and Jim Bob himself don't care about honest discussion, good reasoning, or where the evidence leads. If they actually care about any of those, they would look into the topic honestly rather than listening to a debate on a horribly moderated platform where one of the participants will probably spend more time trying to find a way to call their opponent a Jew than honestly arguing for their position with evidence and valid logic. Well done. If you think Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer's are Nazis, you either don't know what the NSDAP actually believed, or you don't know what Spencer Fuentes actually espoused. They're neo-Nazis, dude. Stop splitting hairs. Either way, you're definitely wrong. Where's the video? Do you have a video showing that? Let me look. Do you have content? Do you have a video? Do you have a video saying how they're not Nazis? Nope. What a shame. The literal self-identified neo-Nazis? Yeah, no, the literal self-identified neo-Nazis are definitely not Nazis, guys. Trust this random person on the in the comment section on YouTube. Though I would agree that the comment section would almost certainly be infested with creationists and pre-sup morons cheering on Jim Bob despite his demonstrable failures. My dude, nobody cares about that. That is not the discussion being had here. That is, like, maybe people care about it in other places, but not in this comment section and not in this video. That is just not what it's about. And I would also agree that James isn't the best moderator. He's not a moderator at all. Not calling him the best is like fucking saying worms aren't the best at jumping. He's no John Donovan from IQ Squared. Oh. Jim Bob, the pseudo-intellectual that he is, goes on the internet and begs someone to take a swing at him. So why are you indulging it? If you know that's what he's doing and that's what he's trying to do just for attention, why are you catering to it? Why are you falling for the trap? This could have been light work for Daps on an albeit not great platform. I've crashed out on many MMD episodes because they just evolve into incoherent shouting mashes. Then what are you bitching about? The person who thinks that Spencer Fuentes totally aren't Nazis thinks it's cool to platform Nazis? I'm shocked. Shocked! Why are you still here? The door is over there. Points at exit door again. I don't think you quite grasp how comment sections work. Yeah, no, Dapper is definitely not making a mountain out of a molehill. If anything, you are minimizing the harm of platforming fascists. Yes, I agree. Heatseeker is absolutely minimizing the harm of platforming fascists. Either because they don't understand, they don't care, or they are they're on the fascist side. No, it turns out it actually is a good look to explicitly care about the oppressed and marginalized. Yeah, absolutely. It makes critics respond only to vibes rather than their actual content of the actual sentences. This isn't about the oppressed and marginalized. Yes, it is! It absolutely definitively is. Not only was it explicitly stated in the video, but just being against Nazis is definitively that thing. This is a performative virtue signal. No, it's not. And I've already explained why, so I'm not going to explain it again. It's just sanctimonious posturing for his own side. How? None of the oppressed or marginalized are actually helped in any way by his refusal to debate Jim Bob on evolution. Why not? Another vibe post avoiding the actual content of the actual sentences. Yep, Muskie makes a good point. I think it is potentially harmful to debate something factual with an ignorant denialist on any channel whose whole point is to make both sides seem equally legitimate. Yep, good point. this applies not just to Nazis. The Nazi thing is just like even a fucking extra. Yeah, I got you, Feline. Doing so can make it seem like they have a point in the first place. It can make it seem like the point they have is so legitimate that actual experts have to debate them about the topic. That alone can end up convincing people that there must be something to it. I mean, there's also like the people who want to use that as a valid thing too, right? And people who then quote mine and try to take shit out and take shit out of context. And then people who like weaponize other shit, right? Like, maybe this guy has a point if he's debating experts about it, in quotes. And in social media world where everyone just wants to see people get dunked on, it almost doesn't matter what's said. If some scientist denier makes some snarky comment that sounds like a good slam, it could end up making a good clip where it seems like some science denier owned the expert, even if the person they were debating had excellent reason, fact-based response backed up by mountains of evidence. Absolutely. I agree that we should push back on misinformation, science denialism, and straight up bad ideas, but there's time and place. Yeah, context matters. Clip that and then put an anti-Semitic thumbnail on it. Yeah. I agree that modern day debate probably isn't... Oh, sorry, I didn't get the whole thing that JL said. Let me get the whole thing real quick. The last interaction I saw from Jim Bob, he begged to go on with Professor Dave, got cooked for nearly a half an hour, then got Dave to say that brains don't have inherent purpose, clipped that, then put an anti-Semitic thumbnail on it. Yeah, exactly. Why go on to a channel, given modern day debate's history, I can understand being snarky and turning it down. Why go on a channel that openly takes a neutral stance on heinous stuff? Why debate fact with a racist on a channel that treats both sides as if they're equal footing and has done so with other racists in the past? Spoken like a guy who only goes to Nazi bar because of the wings. That's very funny. I like that. All right, let me grab here that Feline put in the chat. Light mode! Very funny. Okay, here's the comment. Feline said, as Dapper eloquently stated, the door is over there and points to the exit. Your Nazi friends can be found elsewhere. If you think of being on speaking terms with Nazis is acceptable, you're part of the problem. And why are you still here? And then also, but I do. Just get out of here. You're not welcome here. You think hanging out with Nazis is cool? It's not, so get out of here. Yeah, fair enough. Yes, the centrist debate about asking for human basic rights and whether people should be exterminated. Yeah, right? I guess mathematically there is a center point between these two things, but it is extremely far to the right. His response tells you all you need to know, like, damn, tell me you didn't actually read the email without telling me you didn't actually read the email. I think he's too much of a coward to read, his ego is too fragile. But the tensile strength does deserve to be put on trial. Is that a yes or a no? Now I'm questioning James's reading comprehension or how he got a PhD. Whoa, I did not know this about Jim Bob. I mean, I disliked him before, but this is far worse than aggressive ignorance. Also, I disapprove of the pelagic tunicate hate. Light is the ultimate antiseptic. Anyone who is against debating heinous views, against fighting lies with truth, is either afraid he will lose or else seeking to create a monolith of belief, seeking to succeed not through logic and persuasion, but heard like Overton window. Modern day debate is a fine organization acting as a neutral stage for the discussion of controversial issues. This childish and vitriolic tirade against a marketplace of ideas really damages the opinion of an otherwise good channel. There is more than one way to skin a cat. A debate is not the only way to do that. And a debate about this specific thing is not the only way to do that. You can have discussions in more than one way, and you can have discussions and expose things in more than one way. You do not have to do it this way, and choosing not to do it that way is not accepting the idea and definitely not exposing it. In fact, Dapper writing this email and then publishing that email is exposing it to the light. You fool. The fact that you don't realize that and don't fucking notice that is blind. Like, you're blind at that point. It'd be one thing if Dapper, like, didn't publish the email, right? But doing this is exposing it. It is the light. So what's the point of the light if you don't get rid of the thing afterward? This person is like, shine a light on it so it'll go away. You've shined a light on it and it's going away. No, don't let it go away. That means that we're not accepting the thing. And it's like, yeah, good. We're not accepting the thing. That's the point. Good job. God, there are 14 replies to this. Man, if only there was a way to tear down disgusting viewpoints of Nazis while not sharing a stage and holding hands with Nazis. If only there were a way to do that. By the way, being neutral when it comes to Nazis isn't a thing. And the marketplace of ideas where you can constructively debate a Nazi is about as real as Narnia. Yeah, you don't have to have... The marketplace of ideas can reject things, and Nazis have been rejected by the marketplace of ideas. That doesn't mean they get to stay in the marketplace of ideas with their hands in their pockets actually jerking themselves off. Kylie. Sorry, I think I called you Kyle earlier. My bad. That was me being stupid. Kylie Pratt for 5 says, I told Dapper Jim Bob's YouTube description said professional noticer. Noticer is a dog whistle and claiming secret Jews or plots. It changed to talking head. Oh my god. Yeah, that did come up earlier. I didn't know that that's what that was. So thank you for informing me. I greatly appreciate it. Because I wouldn't have known otherwise. Oh, my throat is starting to go from reading so much. The thing is, it's not neutral. It's balanced and shifts. It's balanced and shifts willy-nilly in the proverbial breeze, thus effectively promoting the worst. A claim made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Oh my god, you're dumb. Oh my god, that's so stupid. Can you prove that his intentions are to promote one side or the other? His intentions don't matter. What matters is what actually happens. It is Kyle. Oh, okay. Okay, I did it right the first time, then did it wrong. Apologize for being correct. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, brother. This is just stupid. This is the level of stupid that it does not warrant a reply. Maybe you could just say, wow, that's fucking dumb. My claim was that he's platforming extremists with no moderation and pushback. That amounts to tacit support by actions under the guise of being neutral. If there are 6 Nazis at a table and someone joins them, there are 7 Nazis at the table. Yeah, and the evidence is his channel. I doubt you actually had a well-thought-out opinion on this channel since you're just ignoring what Dapper does. 99% of his content is literally showing why the misinformation and the lies that people spread are wrong. Dapper just has actual ethics and isn't okay with platforming Nazis who are more interested in clip farming and being a bigot than having an actual discussion, and will actively ignore all evidence because they don't care about what's true. Do you think it's fine and neutral to platform Nazis and then just let them go on entirely off-topic debate, bigoted tirade? I would appreciate you not trying to climb into my head and figure out what my opinions do and do not hold. You stated an opinion, though, dipshit. That's not speculation. I am well aware of what Dapper usually does, and I think it's wonderful. He is analyzing things said by people he is addressing and refutes his arguments, exactly like a debate, but in video response form. Do I think it is fine to platform Nazis? Sure. Why? Give them a megaphone so they can dig a deeper hole for themselves in the public eye. But that's not the reality. That's not what's happening. There needs to be consequences, and you're saying give them a megaphone and then have them, and then I'm going to admonish you if you give them consequences. If you are confident that you are right and can prove it inductively, you have nothing to fear from open dialogue. It's not that simple. And open dialogue is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Modern day debate is not an open dialogue. Kunz moderation style is pretty hands-off. There is no moderation style. It's only hands-off. That is true, but you can only call him not neutral if he lets one side get away with more than the other side, which he does do. Is that something you can demonstrate? Yes. Borg, who's been a member for 3 months as a Goblin miner, thank you for mining out that cheese, Chesh is on a roll. Best part, limited tangents. Next up, she will read Vogan poetry to us to cleanse our ears. No. You should know Hitler had a megaphone. Yeah. Remember, thinking quickly, Dave fashioned a megaphone out of nothing but some twine, a squirrel, and a megaphone. God, that's so fucking funny. Public perception can't get much worse for Nazis, as it should be. The primary issue is that portions of the public are ignoring that they're Nazis. There is no point in just letting them lie on a larger platform, especially one that's poorly moderated. You're doing the exact thing you asked me not to do when you imply that not being okay with platforming Nazis is equivalent to fearing open dialogue because someone supposedly doesn't have good support for Nazis being wrong and reprehensible. Platforming fascists is always a no paradox of tolerance. Is always a no paradox of tolerance, sweetie. We don't tolerate the intolerant here. Yes, I remember Red Cross always using light rather than betadine or alcohol to prep my arm for donations. Cliches, worthless. Bot response, didn't watch the video, Lamau. Imagine coming here and thinking in opposed, upshining light in opposing views. What? Dapper, am I dumb? JL Warren says a big issue is that they've managed to frame social consequences as being censorship, and too many people are either too apathetic or stupid to push back on that. That's a good point. Yeah, they treat social consequences as oppression and reframe it as oppression, and as like censorship is an example of that. So absolutely, I agree with you, and that is something that probably needs to be pointed out more often. With all due respect, this is incoherent. I'm starting to see why you used ChatGPT to write the email. Did you watch the video? You think that was made by ChatGPT? Okay, your whole thing now makes more sense. Imagine coming here and thinking in opposed up. I think he means I opposed shining light on opposing views, but I might not be able to read. That was priceless. I feel proud helping compose a shitpost to waste the time of a shit for brains Nazi platformer. When typing the word Nazi, I prefer to use nutsy. So, like, I'll type it in the chat now. Nutsy. Suck on these nutsies. Ha! Oh, I like this dino avatar, but I grew up hacking on Apple with a green monitor. That's funny. The only valid Nazi policy is a zero tolerance policy. Chef's kiss. James is a terrible moderator and a host. He does no moderation whatsoever, nor keep his guests on track or on topic. I got to meet him in person in Texas when I went to the IRL debate between Team Skeptic and Nathan Thompson. I got fed up with James's attitude towards his chat when he gets criticism about moderation and tells them to go somewhere else, and he doesn't need them here. So I unsubbed and stopped watching. He just lets anyone on for views and money. Fuck the Nazi bar. James is a dishonest actor treating two sides as equal when they aren't. It's a dishonest thing to do. James intentionally treats two sides that are equal when they are not. Moon emoji. Congratulations, everybody. We fucking did it. We read the whole thing. I did it. Are you proud of me, Dad? We are one super chat away from the spice. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Pibblemonk for 5 says, personally, I think it's pretty fair to label someone who advocates platforming Nazis and spreading their rhetoric as Nazi apologist, don't you? I'm going to like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this on to 44. We are 17% of the way to getting a costume for Friday. Zell finishes us off for the 5 for spice. Thank you very much. I will make sure to add that in as well. 49. Thank you so much. We are now at 19% of the way to our goal. Whew. Let me go and do the math to find out what we're going to get for the spice. And I have some things that I want to say about what Pibblemonk said. That's the wrong fucking button. There we go. What do we got? We got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Cheers for the apple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, it's got a skull on it. Good for me. No. It's one we've had already. Oh no, it's the ghost pepper one. Oh no. That's appropriate. Oh no! So I put stickers on these when I have them, and you want to know what sticker is on this one? Crying. Oh no! It's the ghost pepper hot sauce. That's what it looks like for anybody curious. You can take a look at it. Oh, brother! How many Scovilles? You doesn't tell me. I can tell you that I got this thing. This was sent to me by Hawkskull, so make sure when you see Hawkskull to thank him for that. But also that this was bought and sent to me before all the tariffs, so this is a product of the United States. All right. So don't let me forget about Pibblemonk's super chat, because I want to talk about that. Don't let me forget after I consume this, because this is going to be bad. Oh, no, I remember. Oh, no, I remember. And I instantly got the hiccups. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, hi, Kip. Good to see you. Does Chesh regenerate during the blood red moon like bokoblins and moblins? Yeah, I regenerate. That's why I have to like disappear for a couple of days every blood moon, once a month. The spice has been unleashed and it gave me the hiccups. All right. So I'm going to look at Pibblemonk's super chat again real quick, because I think it brings up an interesting point. Personally, I think it's pretty fair to label someone who advocates for platforming Nazis and spreading their rhetoric a Nazi apologist, don't you? So you can go with Nazi apologists, Nazi sympathizers, and then just Nazis. And I'm not entirely sure, personally, what this gradient is, right? So, like, if somebody is a Nazi apologist, are they just a Nazi? If somebody is a Nazi sympathizer, at what point are they just a Nazi? Right? How much can you support Nazis and not be a Nazi? Yeah, I saw Kip in the chat. Oh. I'm gonna start, like, flubbing my words. To be fair, I just read like 300-ish comments out loud, and I think I did a pretty good job. They're all Nazis. I don't think it matters. I think in some contexts it matters. This is a hypothetical to me, right? Like, I'm not saying like you should treat anybody any differently than you would otherwise. I'm more just like asking the hypothetical to be like, is somebody who's a Nazi sympathizer somebody you could have a discussion with to convince them otherwise, as opposed to like a Nazi who would be like you'd approach the conversation a lot differently. I did a good job. Thank you. Pat me on the head. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good job from the Swamp Witch. Thank you. Kip's on the phone. I don't like that YouTube tagging doesn't work on phones. I have another 40-minute video about modern day debate. Oh no. Why? I think we are beyond the point of that context matters in the United States. I think so too. I think that this is not necessarily a discussion that is useful. Or, sorry, I don't think that this is a distinction that matters right now in the United States. So, this is more like of my own curiosity of what you would think otherwise. You're waving from up the street? Hi! My lips hurt. It hurts my lips. A Nazi sympathizer is either stupid or a hidden Nazi. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, somebody who's sympathizing with Nazis either doesn't understand and might, or is somebody you really probably don't want on your side anyway. And or I think. For the denazifying, yeah, maybe. I just don't think, I think that when you have a group of Nazis in power already in like a strong position, you don't have the privilege of taking the time to have those conversations and making those delineations. But again, like the other person pointed out, the Nazis weren't just in Germany, right? They were everywhere. Just like how there's not only neo-Nazis in the United States right now, they're everywhere. So deciding on different levels and different tactics and different ways of delineation and ways of dealing with that, I think, is still important. In for a treat in Man Bear Pig after the stream? All right, noted. Italy had Mussolini. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Only super chats that get censored, by the way. You can say Nazi in regular chat. Use mine. I like using mine. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants the new emote to share for other chats, that's how we treat Nazis in Canada. That is a Canadian goose holding a knife saying honk. Whew. It was nice that we got that, hit the super chat goal right at the end to do the spice. I have had a couple of nutsies. Sounds like an unfortunately named candy bar. Don't forget to like the stream, by the way. Greatly appreciated. And why not subscribe? If it's your, I've seen some new faces. Subscribe and come on by and leave me a comment and tell me how you found me. Why not just throw Timbits? Because Timbits are good. I like Timbits. Actually, I kind of want to go get some Timbits now. I might go do that. Next emote idea, a moose with knife antlers. Next emote idea is a brick. We need a brick. We need a brick. I feel like the brick needs to be like rainbow. Maybe. If you want to give me advice or talk about what you think this brick should look like, or maybe there should be multiple brick options for different people, we should come join me on Twitch. Links down below. Also, if you like having real debates and real discussions, subscribe to Debate Hub. I am over there being the master of ceremonies, the master debater, the moderator, in fact, and I am down to host whatever. So if you want to do one of these things and you actually want to have some of these conversations in a productive manner that will sometimes turn into dumpster fires, because you never know, sometimes you're going to get a dumpster fire. It is going to happen. Come to me. Come to me. You can email me at the email that is associated with Debate Hub Official. The email is there. You just have to go click on the contact. You can go and email me. Hit me up. Some Timbits are good. Okay, not all Timbits are good. We can throw the shit Timbits. The one we'll throw the Timbits that are bad. I made a muffin one time that I overcooked because I worked at a cafe. I cooked a muffin wrong and it was like hard as a rock, and I'm like, I'm keeping this. It was like a brick. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have a good day. It's my day off tomorrow, so you won't see me tomorrow, but you will see me on Thursday, where I'm going to lose my mind and have an actual crash out watching Ian Brenner and Gavin Newsom be some of the part of the problem. They're exactly the kind of problem we're talking about right now. It's them. They're doing the problem. I have no idea what a Timbit is. You know how donuts have holes in the middle? The Timbit is the donut hole. Like the dough that they took out to make the hole. And so a company in Canada called Tim Hortons made a brand off of making those into full donut, like making them edible with like all of the fixins that are on the regular size donuts. That's what a Timbit is. So it's a bit from a Tim's donut. Timbits, Tim Hortons sucks, by the way, now. I don't recommend it. I want Tim Hortons back. Can we do that? Is that something we can like politically push for in Canada? Because that'd be great. More chaos? Thursday. I will give you more chaos on Thursday. A negative donut. Yes. Thank you for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. That's it. I'm gonna leave. Goodbye. I think my last word for all the Nazis out there is gonna be this. Hold on, I gotta press buttons. Okay. See you next time. Like, share, subscribe, and find me on Twitch or whatever if you like art. Okay, bye.